locations are going to come in. This is far, far more compressed, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this one tends to lean more towards those fields or towards the south. But now we have an interview with 17 Gaming's Shamanenok.
有，使命感是肯定有的，因为我们这次 PCL 赛区只进了2个队嘛，2个中国队伍嘛。最担心的无非就是交流方面出现障碍吧。完全只要我们交流好了，都会打得很好的。评价猛，很猛，好吧？因为他现在才打了10把比赛，他已经吃了4把鸡吧。我觉得就是如果让他进了决赛圈的话，他是很大概率会吃鸡的，挺厉害的。第3天肯定是想一直待在第1的，我还想拉点。
Блин, так интересно рассказывает.
然后第4天减少压力吧。
I am more impressed that synergized way better than I was ever expecting. Yeah. I know. I'm pretty happy about that one. 17 Gaming, pretty happy still top of the leaderboard, but they still have some chasers that are after them.
No doubt about it. I mean, this is a really stacked team, of course. You know, one of the big storylines is, you know, this is Show's final act. This is his last event. He wants to go out and finally win a championship, to finally prove, you know, since he's been here, since essentially day 1 of PUBG esports, you know, always close but no cigar, and this time around wants to find it. And then, of course, you know, Lil Ghost has been absolutely popping off for them this event. Just a phenomenal individual performance. I mean, you know, someone's going to have to call the Ghostbusters on this guy, because he is...
Скуп, походу, до сих пор спит. Поэтому я сегодня с вами пока еще в одно лицо. Игра уже началась, я немножечко подопоздал, не успел докушать, блин. Так хотел покушать нормально, но немножечко не успел. Так, у нас уже филферст в ноке, его заберут, доедают. Куда-то он зашел, видимо, не знал, что... Здесь есть люди. Так, надо отправить уведомление.
Is pretty decent to play from, I find, as the game goes on, because you're going to be able to play out to it, and usually there aren't going to be teams that come behind you. You have some cover to work with. You're going to be able to put some pressure on some of those teams.
Так, чат, у меня сегодня немножечко кое-что я поменял, и мне нужен фидбэк от вас по поводу, жужжит микрофон или не жужжит, вот именно в данный конкретный момент. Будьте так любезны, пожалуйста, сообщите, если жужжание пропало.
Everybody's going to get there beforehand, so it looks like they're going to be coming in much later, maybe trying to play that edge strategy. That means that we are going to see teams like Cerberus, TMA, Yahoo, Overpeak.
Так, у нас сегодня 3-й день, 11-й матч из 20. Всего будет 20 матчей, соответственно, завтра будет последний заключительный день, где мы с вами узнаем, кто же станет победителем PGC 2022. И, может быть, кто-то из наших СНГ команд выиграет этот PGC, потому что что NLT, что Нави в топ-4 находится. Отрыв от 17 Gaming у NLT, допустим, 9 поинтов, это ерунда, которая за одну игру может быть нивелирована. Так что у Нави чуть побольше отрывчик, это 33 поинта, уже не особо приятно. Но в целом 10 игр это неплохая такая дистанция. Так, отправляю уведомление. Уже одна из наших команд потеряла игрока, на карте он единственный, кто помер. Надеюсь, в скором времени Псина присоединится. Хотя, знаете, что там за музыка такая? Он все равно сидит, молчит, жопочник постоянно.
Yeah, always big fans of any of the events, and yeah, Thailand was so much fun. So big shout out to everybody that is over there right now, and you can see they were all like coordinated and everything else like that. I find it interesting, like how different regions, like they're different, like celebrations, like little side things like that going on. Like I know the inflatable like sticks or one.
Так, ну что, первая игра на сегодня. Нам показывают, что Дип забрал дропчик.
I don't even know what the word for him is. I like them.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they're wonderful because they make a ton of noise. That's going to be a great pickup here.
Или можно просто Пьер Ришар.
Early on, a team that, you know, obviously, I think a lot of people are really eyeing with their 4 wins in 10 games as somebody who maybe should.
Вчера вот я не смотрел целый день. Смотрю, фейзы у нас на 15-й строчке. Коэмы на 13-й. Но это печально, это печально.
They're a really well-balanced team in terms of their kills. They might have to defend.
Это печально.
This is a team that
I don't think Cerberus might turn into this if they get shot at.
Yeah, like
И куда Церберус-то? Езжайте уже в гадку, что вы тут крутитесь, вертитесь?
Yeah, this is the safe play without a doubt.
Тут 17 гейминг у нас рядышком, тут же NLT рядышком. 17 гейминг еще и с плитом сидят. Неплохим таким. Нифига не маленьким.
Been not so great for them in terms of just how good Twisted Minds is. And I want to reiterate, in terms of, you know, their kills per game, their lowest is 1.2, their highest is 1.4. So Spyro and Perfectix averaging 1.2 kills per game, Batulin's 1.3, Lou 1.4. So I mean, in terms of like the total package, like this team has it. They are absolutely just
Забыл я об вебку
insanely talented, insanely skilled, insanely smart players.
FaZe playing the numbers here. We've seen so many Corey games. They're going to be pathing into the south. Jokes aside, this is just how FaZe do things. They love these long wraps coming in. They are going to find a pretty open area. They are going to have day trade that's going to probably be about another 500 people in front of them. There's nobody even close to United right now. So while they are coming in safe, making sure to check every single angle as they come into this one, they still have to the opposite side of chopsticks before they're probably going to bump into anybody, which would be Cerberus.
О, слушайте, это будет интересная зона, потому что очень много воды. Блин, надо было, чтобы показали нормально. Ни хрена не видно. Здравствуйте, Алексей Михайлович. Рад вас видеть. Как вы?
Really hard shift over towards the land, and you know they're just kind of in it for 3 or 4 circles on the edge where they can just vibe. You know, just kind of listen and see what's going on around them and try to make some plays for the later game. And,
you know, they were talking
yesterday, or not yesterday, today to us, and they were saying
like, моста тусить, но им вообще туда чуть что надо будет ехать. Верхний Жоржик, они уже решили ехать. Я полностью целиком зону не видел, но примерно представляю. Батулин тут один на горе. Довольно-таки такая полурублевая опасная позиция, где тебя могут со всех сторон почикать. Решил он отсюда уезжать? Или пока нет? А почему вайлдкарты пропустили? Типа решили пострелять по следующим? То есть они просто их пропустили. Это должно быть интересно, чат. Эта игра должна быть неплохой. Смотрите, там фейзы с Нави сейчас... Вот это да! Вот это нормас! Слушайте, а тут ведь есть шанс, что зона уйдет вверх. А Доус закрывает Алю. Мэкси нокает одного из вайлдкартов и доедает его. Нави едут по берегу, сейчас Донава, Экзампл должен умирать. Экзампл тут не может. Почему ему колесо не выбили? Как это возможно? Он едет на баге, ему не выбивают колесо. Какой шок! Сейчас везде будет вакханалия, потому что у команд нету возможности тянуть кота за яйца. Надо разыгрывать. Ой, Донава... Кто кого, как тут, чё вообще? С одной стороны Донава, с другой стороны ТЕ. Еще фейзы там что-то где-то постреляли, или это фейзы? Нет, фейзы тут не могли ничего. В итоге Коэм из краю зоны
Late rotator is
Вполне
going to
себе
be very, very
неплохо
beneficial in
сейчас.
this situation. United is going to be coming in, finding an open compound just to the south of Everest, actually to the west of Everest, my apologies on that one, as we still see the continued rain of grenades and
Призыв
firefighting
стали
going
не
on. They
очень
get into
хорошо.
position that's going to be just to the west of where we saw TMA stop and the location that you were talking about, Paper.
А
So this
Example
could be
1
good.
остался из
Now they
Нави
just have
или
to figure
чего?
out, make sure that they survive, as there's going
Да,
to be
Example
we
1
cannot be
остался,
looking in
всех
on this one.
убили, Example
Danoa that
лежит
might
в
also be
полурублевой
able to get some
яме.
angles, and TMA so close.
Вау.
They just got to play this one super safe.
Yeah, TMA has the opportunity there to reach out.
Церберус просто в будке. Ой, Церберусы так заехали, это вообще просто угар. 17 гейминг стакнулись в больничке. У нас, вижу, NLT приехали в Арабку, которая находится в Нижнем Жоржике, да? На перекрестке прямо. И у нас через эту зону будет прокат воды, и вот будет интересно, куда... Вообще, я думаю, 99%, что это будет где-то в районе, наверное, больнички, мне кажется. Если не будет какого-то хардшифта рандомного вверх, то, в принципе, не должно быть, мне кажется. Но если бы он был, это было бы интересно. Когда мы играли различные турниры еще много лет назад, тогда были такие хардшифты. И тогда реально играть было, конечно, это больно. Но вот смотреть это было, мне кажется, интересно. Это заставляет команду действовать нестандартно. Это много экшена на карте создает.
I tend to agree.
At least we should count
Здорово,
cars as their own independent entity then, and see how they end up on the damage charts.
Matt, it's doing it. We're going to that peninsula. I can't believe I said it at the beginning. I'm like, yeah, I saw a game go here once.
Good. That means the fact that we're in for a continued press as everybody.
Ну вот он прок, следующий прок от воды, и, соответственно, зона, скорее всего, будет где-то вот тут вот. То есть всю эту сушу заберет. Потому что от воды типа сюда, от воды сюда, и вот прям хардшифт будет на юго-запад. Я так думаю, сейчас проверим.
Teams have figured out pretty good ways to lock it down for the most part. So now, United trying to, keep their flanks clear, do some damage to Entropic. Entropic gonna do a little in return. Twisted Minds just trying to get as close to this
NLT
road
спокойно
towards this western edge
переместились,
as they can,
довольно-таки
because they
неплохое
know
место, они
there's a
закрывают
decent chance that this is gonna end up
типов за
over in that
дорогой,
area. So good
и
job by
потом
Twisted
дальше
Minds. The fact that
двигаться
they get
тоже
there
могут без проблем по
relatively
этому же
unscathed
квадрату,
is huge.
там со
They
смоками.
have made a really
Ни хрена
smart,
себе
really
у
well-timed
КМов
rotation.
там лута. Ну, КМам надо под гору, а там Донава их фулл контролит, да? Я не знаю, КМам тяжело будет сейчас. Если они на неожиданности какой-то смогут въехать втроем в дом и быстро убить типа, который там остался один в тюрьмах, да? Это было бы очень неплохо, и Донавы бы остались на горе, но просто там в любом случае перетягиваться им обратно в дома это open. Это время. Example умер. Минус Нави. NLT фулл составом живые. Релла ошибся. Ой-ой, хорошо делает.
Harder and harder to deal with the longer this goes, because 17 is still just taking peppering shots.
I just love what Lucarux is doing here.
Ой, Лукарик сейчас... Ой.
Looked away just at the wrong moment. Flood caught him out in the open. Soul with the M24, trying to find some damage into that fight.
Последние 10 игр. Сегодня будет 5, завтра оставшиеся 5. Завтра будет последний день.
Soul's got some... I guess he's got some goals right now. He's got himself that multi lined up. Question Mark's got some goals as well, and they're trying to dethrone this position. Moving in, it is just not working out too well.
Ну да, там к домам подъехать вообще нереально, наверное. Там куча опена. Те ребята будут стрелять.
Yeah, well, it has to remove as much water as it can, and that'll give you a pretty good indication of where this one's going to end. So now it's got some options.
Вот он,
Now,
hardship
it did remove quite a
юго-запад.
bit of water. Good spray from Naileup on the Snakers. That's going to take him out of the vehicle. Looks like he's going to be unrecoverable. Kickstart gets a ton of air here. QBE tries to spray him out. Kick, getting a little bit of help from Flood. Finally,
Что они
Ives takes Kick
делают?
out.
That was wild, the amount of damage he
Что
managed to
они
get up while he
делают
was in the
вообще?
air there. Now we're going to have to see any follow-ups coming in as this Entropic E-United fight there doesn't feel like there's going to be any winners except for Danawa.
Yeah, great job here by Soul, at least using that M24 to steal some points. Flood now on the
Нет,
outside
сегодня не
looking
будет
in, trying to
алкострима.
find if he can get an angle onto Ives. Ives just proning and hiding. There's not a whole lot he can do right now without a little bit of smoke, a little bit of cover fire potentially. QBE hasn't been removed just yet. Ives trying to keep Flood honest, but Flood has been just absolutely nuts this event.
He's just kind of trapped out there, and he's seeing if maybe he can get something for free out of all the
Адолс
cost.
подходит уже
It's still
под
going to be
канал,
Naileup
довольно-таки
taking shots into him
плотно.
as while we see question marks going to be coming in. E-United does get eliminated, and now the press is going to come up with question mark. They do manage to get at least one down, but it's going to be Lambu that follows up after Salute's gone down, and question mark
Ай-яй-яй,
gets
как
eliminated
Ламбу там
very quickly.
разобрался
Yeah,
с
great
пацанами,
reaction there by
конечно.
Lambu to follow up.
Два нока дали
Teammates
ребят,
play the knock.
один
You know,
нок дали.
QM was going to look to push off of it. He was able to just get right up there, get a good spray.
Под это как раз КБЕ решили резнуться.
Anything he can against 17. Look at all the grenades. Everyone in 17 immediately switches over to frag grenades, and it is just raining. Fortunately for
Просто
Naileup,
красную
he's able
зону
to sidestep
устроили
it.
Just
Naileup.
don't go over there anymore. That's it. Yeah, just Naileup, leave. There's no reason to be over there. Well, I guess you can't go this way either, as Soul's now made a problem, and Naileup, your life just got to be pretty bad, as he has nowhere he can really go. Danawa looks like they're going to press
Она
in,
вот
finish
тут
out
всю
the
гору
last two,
контролирует.
and Naileup is just going to be found all by his lonesome.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful from Soul. Great push here from Danawa. They want to clean Entropic out. They want to get all these points on the edge while they can. And they are looking to get the last member.
Ой-ой-ой,
Up and
это
over, right on
очень
top of
хорошо.
Salute. You got a three-man line here.
Очень хороший ног был от Naileup,
again,
прям.
finding another big kill for Danawa.
Getting some assistance in the back end of that one, as it looked like 17 was taking some shots as well, but it's going to be the Freaks that do get a knock on a 17, but they're perfectly content where they're going to be at.
17 гейминг тут слегка терпят. Они что, от гранат поплыли или что? Как они разнокались?
It's everybody inside of buildings shooting at everybody in the hills to the south. That's the name of the game.
Ну,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're one of
ну
these
слушайте,
teams here on the
17 гейминг
south,
в очень
you know,
плохой
you're
позиции.
going to have
В
to make
очень
rotation
плохой
most likely.
позиции. Если они там
Eventually,
выживут
and
и не убьют,
really your
ой,
only options are
и
either
их не
crash
убьет
something
Донава, это будет
inside of that
максимально
city or try to
странно.
loop around to the west and try to get to the beach,
Ghost?
but that beach is completely controlled right now, so there isn't much of a hill where FaZe is.
Ghost just moved into Danawa, and they said, we don't even care. They're moving up, and it's going to be Danawa that's trying to defend. More nades going to be coming out yet again from 17, and they are going to connect. Hell's going to go down. Now, what are we going to see 17 do with this when the shots are still going to be coming out? And that's going to be Twisted Minds from so far away, trying to see if they can get more into this one. 17 wants to continue going forward, but it's not going to happen. That's like, what? I'm looking at this 250 meters that we're seeing the shots come into the mat.
Oh, what great grenades from 17.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Как же
Absolutely
17-й
doing tons of
хорошо
damage. Helen had just
отыгрывает.
been reds, and now they're all gone. The grenades are
Wow.
perfect from Xiaowu and 17.
17 now coming back to reset, trying to see if they can get to some safety. They want to get Ghost, and it looks like they should be able to do so. Those shots are still going to be coming out from Twisted Minds, but the angle is much harder over here, and you can see they just want to try to get him out of the spot. Looks like they are going to be able to get
Просто
the res line.
вау.
Sport's going to be coming in, and the other two members from 17, it looks like they're trying to get to the hillside to maybe take some shots into Perfectix, who's just not relenting.
Yeah, this is really, really tough for 17. Like I said, trying to get into the city is really, really challenging because everything's already taken. So you got to find some way to rotate maybe around to the coast. I don't know what their vehicle situation is like.
Просто
There is a
без
Dacia.
прямого контакта
It'd be best if they had
хаешками
more than
вся
one, as that
Донава
Dacia is
сдохла.
already
No helmet, too.
pretty, yeah, things are bad for 17. I mean, in terms of just getting into the next circle, they've had a great game so far. 6 kills is absolutely great.
Причем они не давали Донаве вообще высунуться. Ну, сейчас, конечно, 17 гейминг умирать едут. Так или иначе, они... Тут выжить невозможно им.
Whoever's going to get the first spray into this vehicle is about to pick themselves up some kills because there's not much to be working with on it. Going to try to rotate around. Looks like it's going to be FaZe taking those first couple of shots into it. They have nowhere they can go, and it's going to be Cerberus that picks up one. Batulin's going to go ahead and flush it out, trying to roll in, see if maybe they can get out of the car before it explodes. At least one's going down. Vehicle is rolling. It's going to go down.
Yeah, Twisted Minds there has a
Ну,
great
тут
angle onto this. With
невозможно.
only one Dacia, there was just no hope for 17. Well played on the edge. Good job taking Donald out, but yeah, just an impossible
Они
rotation. But you can see
попробовали,
there's a lot of
но-
exposed terrain just to the southwest here as Cerberus just barely in, but inside of one of what you call the ice cream stands. Just this sucks. I mean, you've got kind of some healthy vehicles-ish.
Церберусом все, просто замерли и сдохли, если зона от вас ушла. Другого у них выбора нет.
Math should be favoring them in this. They are now only 12 points back behind 17 Gaming, so we might see this as a big game because you gotta take the games as they're given to you, right? Twisted Minds navigated this. They got into a position. They were the harassment into 17, and now they have an opportunity. How much is the circle going to let them exploit it?
Again, it's the timing and the reconnaissance that Twisted Minds does that has set them apart from other teams for the last couple of years, and you could see that this compound was left open by TMA because they retreated to try to keep FaZe boxed out. And I mean, to TMA's credit, you know, they were probably in the back of their minds thinking, this is going to this peninsula out on the west here, this very small peninsula. We need to play for that. And still, this is not a bad position at all for TMA to be in. The circle, though, doesn't have to remove Watermat. This can go literally anywhere, and who knows? This could be, you know, hard shift up to the northwest still. It'd be extremely unlikely, but stranger things have happened.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
No, we want whammies. How dare you? We want whammies. More whammies.
More whammies. Where are we going to? Is FaZe?
Ну и что за зона?
Some type of movement. They're realizing they're gonna go. Yep.
Ну, Церберусы дай, Фейзы дай, Тема дай. Тема еще могут пожить там за забором. Церберусы точно сдохли. Ну Церберусы как-то теоретически могут вот до этой ХГшки добраться, но вряд ли. Скорее всего, Церберусы дай. Вы мне так и не сказали, жужжание микрофона пропало или оно так и на месте?
I don't really put them in the same category as their position is a lot harder to move out of. They're going to have a similar situation what we see going on with FaZe. FaZe is at least going to be able to use the hillside, roll right next to a crate that nobody is ever going to go for.
Как они живут?
And where are we going to see Diggory stop out? He's going to try to spin it around. Vehicle is
Текста доели, а Диггери выживет? Там ликвиды не дадут, наверное, да?
I like this though. I think Fex can maybe get over to kind of that rock ridge on the coastline. He must get knocked as Cerberus is trying to find some way into this next circle.
Церберусы пытаются в эту ЛГ пройти, в которой еще чуть-чуть теоретически можно пожить, но это маловероятно, что это вообще возможно.
That Diggory can probably swim or crawl his way to.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, okay, Cerberus, you don't even have any tires coming out of this one. This is smokes are going to be connecting, and now you can see it's just 3 different teams just lining them up. This is why I was saying that Cerberus not necessarily in that same hunt those other teams were.
Yeah, definitely not.
Беги, Солозли! Кто он там? Сололзи.
If they can sneak under the noses of Twisted Minds and get into their territory, Lash is going to find a point onto Himas.
Да ладно, еще даже поживет тут. А НЛТ, потому что смотрели Церберусов, сейчас могут от ТМА грести. Почему они ТМА не...
Every 17 E-United and Navi fan is presently cheering for TMA, hoping that
Церберусы живут еще, я в шоке.
Another victory and start making a runaway with this, creating an even bigger gap between 3rd and 4th. Cerberus finally does go down in a hail of flames and explosions. TMA does manage to cross, make landfall, and now it's just going to be about TMA being the only moving factor and the only team not inside a building.
Да нормально, ну сам потом послушаю. Так, 2 нока дали ребята из НЛТ, но по разным командам. Хорошая хае! Но там в ответ был нок Спайра. НЛТ надо идти доигрывать, они знают, что 2 нока у команды. Надо еще дать хае, вот это хорошая должна быть. Вот это хорошая! Да! Ластовый за машиной остался. Фейс, да, Диггери, главное, чтоб не занозил. Сейчас еще будет хае. Нету хае? Не дайте разрезаться, надо доигрывать. А чё, больше нет хае, ребят? Как так-то? Ну, ТМА точно уже огребают. Они просто могут кого-то за собой утащить. Бля.
What can they do off of this? The circle is now shifted. It's going to be going to the east. Diggory hears this firefight, and he's moving in from the north. He's going to come in right back behind Twisted Minds. How are they going to want to handle this one? With that damage coming out, it looks like Diggory has set his eyes more in that TMA direction. The shots are going to start coming out for it, but he has got to be careful. Now, several independent firefights are starting to happen around the circle.
Бам! Плохая хае. Вторая, возможно, будет лучше. Перфекто нокает лошок.
This is unfortunate for TMA. They had an opportunity, and Diggory wanted points. He knew that this was the easiest angle to find a couple potential kills.
Диггери выигрывает время для NLT на самом деле. Но NLT уже не могут, да, ничего.
Oh, they're making the push into it. I like this, reading the fact that Nate's going to be coming out, but it's actually going to be finally picked up by Crazy. He's going to get dropped off of Spyro as the resets are trying to come in. Now, what are you even going to do?
Перфекты идут поднимать. Ликвиды все улетают.
Four teams up in just chaos that's going to continue to mount. Two teams full stacked up in Wildcard and the Freaks inside compounds, inside control.
NLT живут последнюю зону, наверное.
And it's going to be TMA limping in with Twisted Minds right next to him.
Now, a lot of other teams are going to be very happy that the Twisted Minds squad was halted quite effectively by TMA. Now, TMA isn't going to find a third kill on the Spyro just yet. Maybe we'll see if Yuppie can get anything done. But, I mean, this is a really good effort here by TMA in a really tricky spot. And now Twisted Minds and Yuppie have to find their way into the next circle. So Wildcard, the Freaks going to be holding this angle down. Decent little shot there from Lash, catches the jumping member. Oh, Yuppie though. Yuppie gets Perfectix.
That is going to be big. He's still just trying to take that last stab.
Ну там в любом случае NLT уже все.
They're continuing to climb. TMA is now up in 5th place as they finally do get
Хотя есть
eliminated, but they
машина,
picked up
но
some very needed kills, as that is just a compacted section of the leaderboard. Twisted Minds though does get into the circle. And we still have 3 teams. It's a 4v3v2.
Yeah, okay, now for real, Twisted
Вариков нет.
And you've got 3 members of the Freaks
КДФ и full
completely
focus.
tunneled in on that direction. Akkad watching for a flank from Wildcard.
Wildcard и full focus.
Out there at least flirting with the idea, but Akkad should have a pretty good hold on that angle, I would assume. We'll see if Nikos can somehow squeak his way in there, maybe get the
Если только каким-то чудом по смокам они пройдут, я в это не верю. Хотя могут, 3 смока и пройдут. Блин, если Wildcard не справится, то... Нок получил и уже... Спайро даже не думает это идти его, походу. А, нет, идет. Нет, не идет.
Two teams, again, both of these compounds and all of these compounds and buildings that we're looking at, I have walls around them, have a whole bunch of different ways. Spyro is, he's really, really good, but I don't know what you can do here. Getting a couple of shots on the Freaks who just revealed themselves in a bad way. That is the freest kill that he should not have been able to get.
Yeah, that was kind of a little bit of arrogance there from the Freaks, where they thought they could make that rotation and they paid the price there. Spyro's just been
доел, было бы вообще идеально, конечно.
So he's almost out of ammo on top of this, but still got a barrel in the pocket. And again, he's on the outside looking in here, so he's gonna have to make a move eventually. May just opt to let the blue do the work for him. But I mean, what a game from the Twisted Minds. Truly, this is a really well played game because of that maneuver they make early on in this game to take this compound, recognizing the open territory, taking the open space at a perfect time. That's Twisted Minds in a nutshell.
Questions are, who can pick up more inside this? Wildcard could use a climb of their own, similar to what TMA just did. Freaks want every single point they can get. Looks like Spyro is just going to go ahead and feed this one over. That's the smart call to do. I mean, he could have kind of like, I don't know, thrown his gun, and that's about the only other thing that he had left in the tank for that. Now, it's all about the firefight that's about to go down. Center point is going to favor more of the side where we do see
это нормально.
Shot has now moved into that northern position. He's trying to make sure that nobody comes up with Freaks on that side. It's going to be a double up where we see the rest of Wildcard trying to defend. Meanwhile, the 4-man squad of Freaks.
Ну и здесь, я думаю, КДФ заберут игру. Ну, чисто... Потому что Wildcard, ну, очень слабая команда, по крайней мере, исходя из того, что я до этого видел. Вот эти 2 гранаты, конечно, которые пацана пощадили, это, ну, это шок. Слава яйкам, он все-таки взорвал его. 3 в 3, 3 в 2 они остаются. Грега должны доесть. Ну, его никак не спасти, он не должен подходить. Нет вариков там подойти. Правда, центр зоны, можно сказать, вайлдкарты контролируют лучше. Он потому что у них, грубо говоря, в квадрате.
Okay, smokes are now out, and it's moving into that wall-to-wall, minimal vision, listening for footsteps. Throwables being the king of everything that you can do. Nate is going to connect, do some damage into this one. Adam just trying to hit some bank shots onto somebody.
Хорошие хаешки дают, в принципе. Видите, никто из вайлдкартов напрямую перестрелку не выходит. Откидывают хаешки сейчас пока. Ой, хорошо. Ой, хорошо! Да ладно! Ну, лошок должен разобраться. Ну, лошок разберется сейчас. А, нет, походу лошок умирает. Лошку надо за забор свой сзади вылазить. Ну, я верил в КДФ. В вайлдкарт не верил вообще. Ну, вайлдкарты молодцы, тут хорошо сыграли. Тут конкретно сыграли неплохо. Он там что, микрофон пожевал или что? Что он там бедный как выглядит, не знает. Как будто изо рта достали только что. Как пустышка у младенца, блин. Вы представляете, Псина до сих пор спит.
Insane fragger for wildcard this event. Just wonderful, and Adam picking it up there with some really smart heady plays to really make sure that again the Freaks had no chance to get.
Он реально спит или что?
That was difficult. I do wish though there was a world in which case we could have seen an automatic shotgun.
I was hoping for it.
Win a game at PGC, and that would have made me kind of happy. I know everything about that game is going to make our desk happy though.
We love exciting circles, we love exciting endings, and we love wildcard coming out
13 часов уже в Стиме нету, а чё?
By our sponsors, Utility. Those teams
Жив там вообще,
very
нет?
well in a very tough situation. Let's look back
Я
at how that
позвоню
match
ему.
broke down, Poro.
Ну что, увидимся на следующей игре буквально вот-вот.
It's just your whole mentality of the game shifts. You start thinking about what are we gonna do?
Спасибо огромное. Коляску купил? Вот сейчас Мария Викторовна попросила бабки ей перевести, чтобы она купила коляску. Сейчас вот прям буду покупать коляску, кстати. Чё? Собираем на коляску, получается? Спасибо, злодейчик, за поддержку. Да. Знаете что? Коляски, конечно, стоят сейчас вообще космос. Спасибо тебе, злодейчик, огромнейшее за поддержку.
Until it fell outside of circle, and I guess I got to imagine I wish they would have got more kills from that, but you know what, it's still a lot of points there within, what, 3 points of first now, I think, maybe? Yeah, we'll have to see when the leaderboard pops up.
I mean, I think with circles like that, any team that managed to make it to the top 5 and pick up some points is pretty happy because of how difficult it becomes. You saw, for instance, United came in late and just had no options once that second shift happened. Let's look at the top 4 teams' performance in that match. Wildcard does walk away with the chicken dinner and 9 total kills. Freaks, though, I think played really well from that building. I loved watching a COD sort of lock Greg shot out. They were planning well. I just don't think they were quite ready for that bank shot grenade at the end.
No, I don't think so either. In this case as well, I was actually expecting a little bit more teams try to kind of send it into some of those blocks of South George.
Yeah.
Because there's so many buildings where you can kind of breach into it. But both Freaks and Wildcat, they were able to hold it down. Wildcat took out overpeakers where they tried to cross the road. And even in this case here, when the blocks are so far apart, you have your buildings, then you have your walls, then you have a big grassy patch where you have to use like 5, 6, 7 smokes to even get across, right? So it's quite easy to defend if you're able to commit a little bit of utility to it. And as you saw both Freaks and Wildcat do, they managed to hold their kind of separate blocks to themselves until they then had to fight in the end.
I mean, even early on, we saw what happened when you try to crash into it, when Yahoo tried to send it in.
Right.
They just got absolutely roasted. So, I mean, you wanted a lot of the stuff that may work in your regional lobbies, a lot more difficult to get away with this in this lobby, obviously. But, you know, again, credit to Wildcard for holding on that north side. There was a lot of teams that were trying to make their way in from the north, most notably Overpeakers.
Yep.
And I mean, that was just a big clutch late game there for Nikos.
I do think the teams that got to this end game owe a little thanks to Overpeakers. They were like a big
Доброго стрима, здорово. Так, ребят, давайте я вернусь на следующую игру, окей?
Let's take a look at the points and how they break down. 19 going the way of Wildcard. Twisted Minds, who just is the picture of consistency, walks away with 13 second. The Freaks are going to be able to get a little bit of a climb. Donawa as well. The big one for me is 17. They let some points slide here, Martin.
Yeah, a little bit, and it's for the greater good of everything else, you know. they let the foot off the gas a little bit. I gotta say, though, Donawa here in this case, they had some really good team wipes. They played extremely well, and also in this case, when you're able to get top 4 without getting any placement points, that's always super well executed by them there.
No, it's huge for especially Seoul once again. And, you know, you talk about 17, kind of leaving a little bit. Still, 7 points is huge. I mean, that's in a circle like this, obviously, it's great. But then you look at United, 1 point, Navi, 1 point.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about this coming in. You can't afford to have those slip-up games where you're getting 1 or 0 points because these guys are still climbing every single time.
That's true. I mean, they did come in 17 with a 70%, I think it was top 5 rate at the start of today. And let's be honest, 200 meters difference, Twisted Minds might have been adding another chicken dinner to their leaderboard.
Sure.
Instead, Wildcard does come away with it, and the all-star who's really shown up in this event and is showing a lot of potential going forward for the region, Nikus, looking amazing.
He's scary in land, man. He's performing. He's out here really proving that Wildcard is here, and they're obviously not happy with anything outside the top 10.
I mean, because it's one of those guys we've been talking about for a long time as being like the next potential big superstar from North America, or well, I guess from our newest transplant to North America. But you know what? He's finally showing up here in a big way, and yeah, that jumps him all the way up to 5th. That's not too shabby.
And you know, we were sitting over there chatting with Sam in the green room about the games, and we're sort of like, this is good. Another team is going to have to climb the board. And I was skeptical about Wildcard because they were so far down. But I think that really shows, Martin, just how close the mid-pack is, because one big game puts you into the hunt.
Yeah, look from 5th place all the way down to 11th, 51 points to 64. It's 13 points. It's one good game and you're straight into it. And it's tens of thousands of dollars difference, those placements there. It's crazy.
And I do. Oftentimes we're tempted to sort of watch those big 3, Poro, and sort of the race to the top, because that is what the whole year is about.
Absolutely.
But Martin brings up a big point. Tens of thousands of dollars for a team like, let's say, Yahoo, who is non-sponsored. That could be an entire year of training and ability to really focus going into 2023.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that could be the difference between a lot of different. I mean, that's them basically taken care of for the next couple of years for sure. And again, you see Wildcard making that big jump. Yahoo did it yesterday. But at the end of the day, you know, we're still looking at that top 3, and it's starting to get farther and farther away because Twisted Minds, 17, they just don't have 0-point games. They don't have 1-point games. They just always manage to collect points to add to that total and separate themselves even further.
Okay, go ahead.
It's feeling very much like New Happy Heroic last year. Like it's becoming a 2-horse race, so they're running away with it right now. More than 20 points difference, down to 3rd. Somebody has to stop them, and there's 14 other teams that's looking at it too.
I'm gonna take a brief chance to look away from the top 3 to ask a few more questions. The team that we saw in that game put in some work was Overpeakers. You got to remember during the interview, how can we not remember? Before this started, Jeem said we're not playing together anymore. Mixie literally went up there on stage and said, "We hate each other." And in a game that is all about communication and synergy, how is a team that quote-unquote hates each other doing so well?
They're still half the points of first place, so
yeah, but
I mean, technically though?
Look, you can hate each other and still know how to communicate.
Still frag like a monster.
Yeah, he's like, hey, there's a guy in that window, you jackass. You know, like, he can still find success. I mean, all four of those guys are still extremely talented players that have been playing together for a long time. It doesn't matter if they hate each other or not. They still know each other well enough to know how to play the game at this level.
They're not going to forget how to play the game. They're not going to forget how to win the 1 versus 1, right? No matter what. In this case here, I have a lot of trust in these guys. Remember, like, three of these guys, they started 5 years ago in Oakland, playing in 3 different teams.
They're absolute monsters.
It's crazy. These guys are legends in the game, and they played for so long. So they know how to do this and know how to execute. And the reason why they're not on the very top right now is maybe a little lack of synergy, and maybe that but they hate each other. You know, even a little bit sarcastic. They might not feel that the team synergy is exactly where it should be.
A team that does depend on synergy and has got some questions around them right now is Donoa. We know that that's the 1-2 punch. Salute and Soul, a very good team, but a lot of questions have been asked about Lambu, his ability to sort of lead the team and keep in the right mental state.
He popped off this game. Four kills in that one. He had a clutch in a situation where he maybe shouldn't have won it versus question mark, and then they continue further on there. I honestly like what I'm seeing from them so far. Soul, honestly, in a case where he's one of the top 5 players performing right now at this event here. Top 3 in the kills throughout so far in the grand final. He's been stepping up, and I think no matter what, we can't really forget Dynamite. They're going to end up like they usually do in the top 6.
I mean, they just seem cool as ice, don't they?
Yeah,
I mean, even when things are not going so well for them. And I mean, you look at yesterday, they could easily have been tilted off of that game that they should have probably won. But they come in here today, first game, looking pretty good. And as you said, Soul is just, what can you say about the guy? He's top fragging right now.
Yeah, they might be 9th right now, but they're 5 points from 5th place, guys. It's extremely close. Again, that's like $50,000 for 5 points, right? One kill is $10,000 at this point, right?
It's insane.
It's
to think about,
extremely
really.
close because we have our sponges in the top, right? The guys, 17 Gaming, Twisted Minds, United at this point here, they've taken so many points that there's so little rest for everybody else that it's going to be extremely close for outside the top 4, 5th and down.
I do think that this is a great time when we look at some of these teams, TMA, Donoa, maybe even to a certain extent United, is teams that as we look towards 2023, even if they don't necessarily lift the trophy, if 17 dominates, these are very strong looking teams that have put up really, I think, a great indicator for PUBG esports going forward.
Yeah, honestly, I like what I'm seeing from Team. I give them a bit of rough in the start of it because they haven't been performing in PCS in Asia, but they have experience in the team. Shanghai, PGI 2018, winner with OMG and Line KK, like legend in the game. They've been playing for so long. Crazy also, like these guys have so much experience. Yoppy been popping off for the team too. Like these guys have so much experience, and that's why we're seeing them 6th place right now. Yes, they're not contesting 1st place right now, but still they're within striking distance of a lot of money.
Yeah, that's not a team you want to run into in a dark alley for sure. Like I don't care how well they're doing on the leaderboard, what the leaderboard says, whatever it is. Like Martin was saying, that I mean, there's such a distinguished pedigree for every single one of those players on that team, and I mean, I expect a pop off from them at any time.
You bring up pedigree. Let's take a look at the Freaks. They know what they're doing. They've done it for a long time. And even that master's class we got from Akkad on how to like isolate Greg shot with grenades and then keep his knocks framed off with those Molotovs. Right. These guys understand this game intimately.
Yeah, they are, but I gotta say they made 13 points on day 1, guys. The game that they had just now gave them more points than the entire first day. Yeah. So right now they're in up row. They got 20 points yesterday. So if they continue this, they can jump into maybe top 10 if they continue.
And, you know, it's interesting because you go and you look at some of the message boards over there, and there's already talk now about, you know, what teams are going to, you know, do and what players are going to go where and all this, that, and the other. These guys obviously don't think about that just yet. I mean, they're still in the midst of these grand finals, but, you know, again, this is a team that I think they could be really good together. Like, I think they just need a little bit more time, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of faith in Akkad, and I had Ian on my fantasy team, man. I was really believing.
Yeah, and, I honestly, Lash K and Ian, they've been, especially last year and in the start of the year, a lot of high expectations to them, and they've been showing it. But then they get to PCS Asia, and they just get dominated by you know, the Chinese teams that have just been on another level so far.
Absolutely. All right, you saw the trophy over there on the stage.
About this one.
Let's talk about FaZe. I know you know these guys. I'm not really sure what's going on with them, though.
No, I don't know either. I talk to them, and they don't know either themselves. So, no, of course, they have some insights, they have some ideas, but right now, they're just not hitting the mark at this point here. Again, two legends of the game. Gustav and Eti also at IEM Oakland 5 years ago. Gustav played on Wind and Rain, and, you know, Eti played with Method, Andy Pyro back in the day before he then joined FaZe. Now the longest standing member here left from 2019 era of Eti, right? So these guys, 15th place right now, 37 points. It's just not good enough. We're expecting them to be at least top 8. We expect them to be one of the contenders right now. But yeah, they haven't been performing and popping off as we would love them to see to do.
Especially to see what Fex was able to put together at PNC, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was an insane performance.
We know what they're capable of individually, right? So
you know,
and I guess the problem for them is they
Так,
know
мужики,
what
у
they're
них там что,
capable of.
задержка
Gustav
какая-то,
is an
что ли? Я не
incredible
понял.
leader, and
Что так
they
долго?
have to be frustrated. I mean, the fact that they got into this in the last moments of a grand survival, do you think that took a toll on them? The fact that they had to go that deep in to get through?
It just
Что-то
can't, right? You have to
случилось
be able
или
to
что?
mentally reset from that. You have 2 days off. That you take maybe one mental day, and then you take the next day, and that's where you start prepping up and really getting into things. On the other side, one fantastic game, one win with double digits right there, straight into the top 8. So I'm just hoping that they're able to turn this around today before it's going to be too late on the last day, because that's going to be really hard to catch up then, right?
I understand, guys. I'm with you, but we are making sure that obviously the playing field is even. We're taking care of some tech stuff, and we'll be right up and running. Just a couple of minutes here, but let's keep meeting the teams. Wildcard came away with the win there. I got a little worried. Adam seemed like he was jumping the gun on some of those grenades he was laying out in that last match, but it didn't matter. They played it perfectly.
Просто решили о чем-то поговорить.
I was looking at Adam. I was like, he has 3 nades and 2
Ладно,
rounds.
мы тоже
That's
с вами
gonna
можем
be
чай
easy.
попить. А
Just
еще...
with the utility. That's literally going to win them the game. They just needed them to get off their kind of inner side of it, but then they bounced off a few nades here and there. They got an opening knock, and then they got another knock with a nade, and then they could go aggressive with it. He used it a little bit early for my taste.
А еще сделаю строчку на скидку для коляски.
All that utility is going to be on your dead body rather than being used in action. So
and then 17 will sneak up and probably loot it.
Я не знаю, насколько сильно она мешает.
I think 17 just starts off every game with 5 grenades, right? Like on each.
Надеюсь, не сильно мешает.
I mean, it was an awesome finish from Wildcard, and kind of touching back on what we were saying before, right? It's
Не, реально, я еще не видел, чтобы такой паузы долгой.
For having us in the Americas talk about Nikos for such a long time now, be like, oh yeah, I mean, this guy's actually cracked. He's
Хоть раз, ни разу такой паузы долгой не было. При этом показывают что-то команды. До этого вообще ни хрена не показывали.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rough start. He felt a little bit of sick and stuff with it, but now popping off here in the final. Honestly,
You like the jerseys, Martin?
They probably weren't maybe on the cusp.
О, у чувака капли как у меня.
Made my mind. Honestly, they played extremely well. Day trade, yeah, I love that.
Не знает, что за...
Honestly, I think Paper, he met
Фирма, конечно, у него. Ну, вернее, те капли, которые у Маши только.
PCS Chairman here and these guys, the 1-2 punch flash nerds, high expectations to them. Still on the cusp here. They can reach the top 4 if Na'Vi continues to have a rough time, but in this case here, yeah, I really want to see them pop off. One good game and they're into the top 5, top 6.
Может быть,
again, this huge mid pack because we have all these teams in the top.
Смысла нет на суперлайт
2 teams at double digits. Our mid pack teams on 50 points, right? So.
Может быть, мышку разыграть мою новую, которую я купил, которая мне не подошла по форме.
At the end of the day, if any of these teams can sort of do it, maybe yesterday and piece together a good run, they can get right back into that mix. We've seen 17 let go a little bit of slack.
A lot.
Twisted Minds is going deep every time, but they're not necessarily getting quite the points they want to. The fact that they have 4 chicken dinners, but haven't managed to get that first place position. Now here's a team that has given, I think, a lot of ups and a lot of downs.
Здесь у пацанов тоже G-Pro.
Ivis, one of the most bot players when it comes to fantasy, and everybody's watching this team because of that. What's your take on them?
Are you telling me he's bought because they have high expectations to them or because of the price?
Well, he was cheap.
He was the cheapest player.
Means that that's a lot of eyes on him.
Я удивлен, что они на всех камерах игроков выставили одинаковый баланс белого. Хотя вот тут вот немножечко, мне кажется, насыщенность задрали, либо там фонарь какой-то.
Only focus is get me as many points from my fantasy team as possible because I have Nalo on my team. And yeah, they yesterday they fell off 10 points compared to the 30 on day number 1. It was actually looking pretty good day number 1. We're like, okay, these guys have come to play. They're potentially going to be able to stay within the top 8. But right now, 13th place, 43 points, still one good game, jumping into the top 8 easily. But they gotta do that. They gotta get the ball rolling here. And if you then don't do it in day 3, it's going to be hard to catch up to the other guys in the mid-pack and other teams in the mid-pack that are still rolling the ball slowly forward.
2 more Aaron games to go, too, that they can kind of try to... unless, of course, we get some wheels off circle like we did.
Да пока рано говорить о том, команда впритык идут или не впритык, потому что...
3.8 points per game compared to the 6.8 points per game on Miramar. So they're actually a Miramar team if you look at their PGC 2022 performance so far, yeah.
Now,
besides the Grand Prix.
Sure.
Another team who has done well on Erangel in
Потому что еще 9 игр впереди.
so far. They got those back-to-back wins yesterday, and I was informed that their mascot is not a chicken for everyone at home. It's apparently some sort of
Gloucester Canary, man.
Is that like a canary from
Gloucester
Gloucester?
Canary.
It looks like a gangster bird, right?
It's like a canary that played for the Beatles. You know?
Okay.
Little,
well, either way, these guys have sort of
Ну
lost
что
a little bit
это?
of the Eagles. They've been playing very, very well. They do understand positioning, and it is setting them up for a big year ahead. Now, someone who understands positioning better than I think anybody else in the game is Batulin and Twisted Minds.
I love Twisted Minds, but I actually want to talk about your whole a little bit quickly before because we've been talking about them so much, right? And we're gonna have plenty of opportunities. Right, I want to talk a little bit about your whole here. What I love, I played a few games, competitive games with Balefrost. This mind is something else. Like he remembers kill feed players, what happens around, and like you can be there's 23 players left. Like I'll talk to both like there's 23 players left. He's gonna be able to tell you what teams are alive and how many is on each team.
Ой, а куда это Дип вниз смотрит? А куда это Батулин вниз смотрит? Это долбоёбы, блин. Надо заблочить. На победу Петриков поставил? Таких даже в финале нету. Хорош.
Well, we get a little assistance. That being
boy,
said,
let me tell you, whenever I play PUBG, how mad I get that I don't have that God mode still.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I will say I've gotten okay at it, but I'm still, I mean, in a 100-player lobby, forget it. I'm not even trying in a pub lobby, but you know, when it comes to fights, I try to keep track of things a little bit as best I can, and I mean, our players, though, they're experts at it. That's why they're here. They, you know, these
Блин, я же не послушал про жужжание со своего микрофона сегодня.
You may not see them in the stat sheets as much. I think that's something a lot of people need to consider is that IGLing in PUBG is absolutely one of the most difficult things to do in esports there is.
Yeah, and there is also the secondary factor we don't get a chance to talk about too much, which is the inadvertent benefit of having your IGL die first and sometimes putting themselves in more riskier positions due to that.
Yeah, I mean, there are IGLs who play like that. You've seen Jeems do it a little bit this event. I mean, PO, of course, is kind of the GOAT of doing that as a solo. But some IGLs play back, some play forward, some are in the mix. It all just depends on what's comfortable for them. Oh, God. 777. Does he have a gun? Is he driving at this? Okay, no. Okay, he's pulling out. I think he was looking for maybe somebody screwed up their shoot and could run him over, but did not get that opportunity. I thought he might have a gun because that was playing with fire a little bit there.
I always love it whenever somebody blows the horn as they're running away, or specifically right before they run over somebody.
That's the must. I mean, that's like, you know, that's a given.
It bothers me when people don't do it. It just feels wrong.
If only you could turn on. Yeah, my friend and I do this sometimes in pub games. We turn on videos in the car, and then we send them down hills at people to sound bomb them so they can't hear what we're doing as well. Yeah, it works.
Только готовьте воспитывать нормального мужика.
Than last time, which is, I think, a sigh of relief. I mean, sure. Again, we like some fun circles, but also let's not break the servers.
Yeah, that one right there was pretty wild. I mean, we've had a couple really wild ones in these grand finals, so. You know, maybe we've gotten those out of our system. I'm not sure. With me and you on cast, Matt, you never know because we just seem to absolutely bring chaos every time we're together. So it is what it is. I mean, again, the way that Nikos and Adam handle this, it's so well set up, and I got to give a ton of credit to Adam, the IGL, for
блин, забыл микрофон
dictated the pace of this. You know, using his utility to make sure they can't get out of the fence.
Спасибо огромное тебе, Свитан. Спасибо тебе большое. Я там говорил, а звука не было. Ну, блин, а как иначе-то? Как? У меня же семья не из двух пап состоит. У меня же Мама и папа есть, так что нормальный мужик будет. Блин, звучит как-то не очень, да? С точки зрения вот этой вот европейской толерантности. Как будто осудительно как-то, да? Осуждаю сам себя за свои вот эти вот умозаключения. Не, ну скажите, Лу похож на Пьер Ришара. Пошел гуглить Пьер Ришара. Да.
It's just sometimes, you know, whenever you're playing with your friends,
just shut him up right as fast as you can, you know.
One of my favorite moments, I think,
Пьер
we were,
Ришар.
looking around for stuff, and everybody was getting really geared, and he couldn't find a
В молодости надо было
So every single
написать.
time he would find a level 2 armor, I would sneak away and shoot him.
Молодой.
That's pretty mean there, man.
Блин, ну с натяжкой, ладно. С натяжкой похож.
I'd run over there and find another one.
Massive BM there, my man. All right, well, you know, it's all good. All right, we have another viewing party. This one in Vietnam from the X Stadium in Ho Chi Minh City. So, I mean, a wonderful PUBG region. I mean, you saw what they did at PNC this year. The fans there are absolutely wonderful. And, they've got some great teams. They've got some great prospects. You know, I think the future is
Совсем не
really bright
похож,
for
волосами
Vietnam
похож.
for PUBG esports.
Man, they were so coordinated. Like, I guess the other groups are just like having fun, relaxing. They're like, no, we are going to show how supportive we are of our team.
I like it.
Спасибо,
I mean,
Свитан,
I
спасибо
appreciate
еще
the
раз.
coordination.
Спасибо
That
большое.
means you've got, you know,
What's up? How you doing?
you know, you've got those cheers, you've got, you know, the
Чё, урод,
leaders that are
спишь?
kind of starting the chance. I mean, you know,
Чё, урод, будешь?
for any sports
Будильник
events,
не
they
мог
always
себе
got the
поставить
fighting
на
chant
начало
at the beginning,
ПГЦ.
you know, all these kind
В
of
жопу
things.
это ПГЦ.
I really love that
Я
stuff.
причем ушел сразу
Fire
спать,
up,
чтоб ты
it gets me
понимал.
into it.
Да я посмотрел, что-то тебя в Стиме нету 14 часов. Думаю, ну ладно, позвоню.
We're American, so I don't have like too many chances. It's more just like one of those
Yeah,
things.
what does
people-
America do? The wave? Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, no. Usually
Boo.
we just pop open a beer. That's
That works too. All right, well,
Шаман,
17.
салам
just-
тебе.
Я вчера не спал, надо же мне
Поздравляю
как-то.
вас с Машей.
Проспаться было.
Что нового у тебя? Какие дальнейшие планы по...
Балах, спасибо огромное за поддержку. Что нового у меня? А с какого
Очень
момента
интересные
тебе?
катки были.
С какого момента тебе начинать? Ну, предыдущая очень интересная была, на самом деле. Зона вообще мощная была. Вот можешь быстренько перемотать, посмотреть зону. Зона была пушка.
Ты мне впадло мотать. Просто скажи, где она была.
Спасибо, Балах, огромное. Какие идеи по ютубчику? На самом деле идей много, просто взят... Подожди, я сейчас отвечу там. Идей на самом деле много, но пока что-то ни за что не взялся. Так, идеи есть, но надо пробовать что-то делать, экспериментировать. Ну, пока вот... Пока стримлю просто игры разные. Сейчас проходим God of War. Я не знаю, сегодня вечером будем играть в Warzone, не будем, без понятия. Как God of War пройдем, будем проходить Dark Pictures, Devil in Me, по-моему, что ли, там части вообще. Dark Pictures просто охренительная линейка игр. Я так тащусь по этим игрофильмам.
Может, там не надо быть скилловым?
Почему тут не надо быть скилловым? Этот клоуняка все обо своем, блин.
Ну,
Зона была 70% воды.
70% воды где?
Левее ясный. Ну, угол, который... Ой, ясный, говорю, подожди, не ясный.
И чё она уж?
Не ясно, нет, Жоржик. Под нижним верхним Жоржиком левая часть. И закончилась она на квадрате под арабкой. У перекрестка, если ты понял о чем.
Ну, в нижнем Жордике уебиться.
Да.
They are going to use that as a leapfrog point here. They recognize that this garage compound is open.
В своих квадрате ты имеешь в виду, да?
Да,
This
да,
one they
да.
go, and this is just a really smart, diligent kind of IGLing here and decision making from Yahoo.
Там просто со второй зоны уже вакханалия была. Уже на 10-й минуте 47 живых, по-моему, было.
Да, там и с той стороны сидели, просто мозг кемпили челы.
Нет, нет, никто масс не кемпил.
60-40, 65-35.
Там соотношение было верхнего Жоржика 7%, все остальное внизу.
И чё, все просто залетали в сейф-квадрат?
Ну, плюс-минус, ага.
И кто выиграл?
Твоя любимая команда.
Их нету.
Туалетные утята. Вайлдкарты.
Да не, на них плюс-минус похуй.
Uncharted я уже проходил. На канале должно быть прохождение. Все эксклюзивы на PS я проходил уже. Причем в этом году даже.
They're going to bump into overpeakers as Rajak is starting to become, I think, more contested than most people are expecting. 777 knows where Hisaki is.
Я вот единственное не поиграл в дополнение к Резиденту Evil. Надо тоже его будет пройти.
I see teams fight over this hill a lot, and it is good territory. It is good reconnaissance that you can get to your north, in particular, in this circle.
I do want to point out, how far were those shots from Na'Vi while we're watching FaZe do what they're doing? Was that like 600 meters into TE?
Like more like 700.
That was ridiculous. Just to even hit any damage. I know
Так,
this
что
is
у нас
cool,
по
what's
игре?
happening here with day trade and everything else, but Na'Vi
А зона какая? Я вообще как будто до этого игру не смотрел, короче. Так, зону вижу. Вот FaZe с Дэями нашли друг друга, блин. Куда? Акад куда-то стрелял. А, забор, наверное, ломал просто. Ну и какой же прок? Просто центранется. Ой-ой-ой. Хардшифт прямо на Жоржик гору. Церберусы сейчас будут стакаться сверху. Коэмы будут стакаться в кемпе плюс близнецы, я так понимаю. Хотя, мне кажется, тут надо стакаться. Какой тебе настрой фильтров надо? У меня нет никаких фильтров.
В смысле, дома для воды нету фильтра?
Воду привозят.
Прям вообще фильтров никаких нет.
Нет, вообще никаких фильтров.
Тебя по-братски попросили фильтр сказать, какой ты не можешь.
Угольный, братан.
So we saw this with Cerberus in the previous game, and now Na'Vi is going to use their opportunity to find some free space.
You know what's better than having all three of our top
Солози,
teams in
кстати,
here?
сейчас
Let's pick up
кинется,
fourth as
походу.
well, as United is coming into this path, and they want to join in, and they're going to be just to the south of 17. Looks like they're going to be trying to pass.
Кружка имба идет в комплекте с Ромом.
That's exciting. I mean, if this starts going southwest, oh, Himas got Batula and down and out.
Там же стаканы шли.
Finds the connection. They're trying to go for the res. Himas there. If that
Никогда с Окхартом стаканов не шло.
Oh, that was on point though. Looks like he's going to try for another
В
one.
смысле, как не шло? У меня 2 стакана того карта каких-то есть.
Там какие-то кружки, а не стаканы. Ну-ка, сфоткай, отправь. Пруфы или балабол?
У меня в коробках все лежит сейчас, алло. Кухня только 1 числа делается.
Ну, ясно, балабол.
В принципе, пошел нахуй, похуй вообще.
Split across the ridge line of the top. You have TE with 2 up there, 2 down below on the eastern side of Everest. And United has taken this.
Блин, ну прок на самом деле сейчас неожиданный был, и что-то я даже не знаю. Надо посмотреть еще на зону, чтобы запредиктить, что кого куда.
Пиздец, там сложно запредиктить.
Так я не помню, какая зона.
Центр Эверест, сам же сказал.
А, ну это походу Эверест и будет. Эверест или кем под Эверестом.
Еще может нашифтить на папич, на контейнеры, ну, под горой, там, между Эверестом и контейнерами есть зона.
the triple Lux from Soul gets him out of the firing line of Entropic, and Helen saves the day.
My boy can pirouette.
That is worthy of a ballet. That is beautiful from Soul.
I mean, just keep it on going, dude. Follow him for a while. Apparently, that's where all the shooting's going on. We do have a couple of shots that are going out. Really, it's just the continuation of what's going on top of Everest, as it is going to be Cerberus that's looking on the mines, TE that's going to be holding to the east of Everest. Rotation's going to be coming in from Overpeakers down the south, and looks like they have set up a trap. See if maybe they can pick up some kills, but it's actually going to be Liv in a car that gets a knock onto it. And
Так, Ликвиды с Яху тут залупились в поле, по ноку у каждого. По 2 нока разменялись. Найс Джим скатится, блин. Но походу Ликвиды тут вышли победителями. Да, Ликвиды вышли, успеют ли они разрезаться? Походу должны успевать разрезаться, хотя Мэкси, наверное, умирает. Мэкси добирает Иван. И втроем, ну, малой кровью на самом деле отделались.
Фейзы еще хавают.
Let's go.
So now it is time for everybody to send it in, find themselves some
Oh, sweet! Что это вот? Что это?
We already have multiple teams that are crashing. Entropic just made a point for it.
Oh boy.
United might be coming over into the west. We still also do have crates, so there is the potential for a crate.
Калиста Протокол будешь играть? А это что-то новое или что? Или я это вообще играл?
You're trying to curse it. You're trying to get it. Crate games are fun too. I will say that those are fun, but the problem is that.
А можно сначала проверять у меня на канале, играл я во что-то или нет, по-братски?
Ты не помнишь, во что ты играл?
Нет.
Yeah, right. Now we have willed that into existence. United trying to make a rotation into these sort of ridge lines. These, it looks like somebody took their hand and like clawed the side.
Но это что-то свеженькое, походу, должно выйти. Планируется выпуск 2 декабря. Так, братан, если будет свежак выходить, естественно, я буду играть, если это будет интересно. Типа, я еще даже не знаю, что это за игра, не смотрел. Она еще не вышла, как Dead Space. А я в Dead Space точно не играл, поэтому даже не представляю.
Мишская хуйта какая-то.
Иглтон отправился домой.
Он так преисполнился, что сказал, не буду это играть. Слишком легко.
Really, it's just the top of the hillside. Teams up here, this is a hard place to try to survive.
I'd like to see Cerberus try to blow up this vehicle. Start just popping shots into it, just make it unusable. Just kind of see if you can make the cover worse for United. I mean, at best for United, that the dossier doesn't really change too much in its position, but it could flip and roll in a direction that kind of exposes them to Cerberus when the smokes run out. And now, yeah, Tycon has a knock on to Snakers, caught him out in the open. Relay smokes are going to go. A frag has been let loose, and you can see that one bounces just a bit too far. It's just so far down that hill. It's further than it looks.
Yeah. And so looking at, remember that we just got
какой-то такой вяленький движ.
A second ago, I wanted to point out the fact that off their 4 kills, they just did a massive climb up the leaderboard. They just needed 1 or 2, and they got 4.
Не знаю, зачем чуваки из ЮУ приехали на таких таймингах сюда. Столько места еще, где можно подтусить. Опа.
С кайфом.
Опа.
А что, на ЛТ-3 осталось?
Ну, видимо так. Я не видел, что там с ними было и где умер. 4-й у них. И кто? Ой, салют сейчас ликвидом занозит люто. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Гуд. Как хорошо это было.
With the way that this circle popped, actually can be a benefit for United, who are trying to right themselves, as now they're starting to be much more of a hillside fight, and targets galore. We have freaks that are coming into it, as well as having now wildcard and day trade.
Да я так и не могут подняться с 16-й строчки, блядь. Ё-моё.
These firefights up on top of it are getting even more spicy. As you can see, there is an exchange between TE and Entropic.
Well, TE still in a 2-2 split, so that's a lot of pressure to put on your players in phase 4 with so many teams having to come through this mountain area. You either needed to retreat sooner, or try to just play for the edge, play for the points. Day trade, well, they're trying to drive in as well, and the freaks spray isn't that great. So now
чуваки из Day тоже это заехали, не то не сё, непонятно вообще. А этот вообще какой-то потерянный был.
As it is also going to be one member up for Day Trade Nurens that's going to be very close to United.
Yeah, as dangerous as this can be for Cerberus, they're doing an absolutely masterful job of controlling their space. No one's gotten knocked. They're playing their life really, really well.
Ну, вайлдкарты чуть получше подъехали, конечно. И уже с учетом того, что в спине у них никого нету, но при этом спокойно их забутербродить могут. Минус Релла, походу доберут даже.
Донава еще подъехала. Все под гору просто подъехали.
Дэй сдохли, я не знаю, что это за подъезд был вообще. Вайлдкарты схватили ног уже по одному, но в целом нормально стоят. Но могут ли там ЮУ крутить их? Я как бы нет, наверное, не могут. НЛТ тоже нормально там тусят, никто не идет им ни в спину, ни в это. Не пушить их спереди.
Кажется, еще будет файт на весь 17-ми.
Ну, с учетом того, что никто с горы их не контролит, но контролят с грачей, с чекпоинта, то не очень будет сладко там. Да. А Нави при этом стали так, чтобы сдохнуть сразу, видимо. А как Нави хотят тут выиграть файт? Ну, это просто трешак.
I just love how aggressive 17 Gaming is here. The circle shifts away from them. They got a clear space, and it's a follow-up grenade from Xiao Wu that has found a flush and yet another knock. Mel was on a sliver of health, found the first aid kit. Smokes are abounding here for Navi. They are trying to stabilize.
FaZe is using this in the distance just to cut right in between them and question mark. Rolling in there, it looks like they were trying to see if they
FaZe куда-то решили на 17-ми вставать. Сейчас братан им объяснит тут, куда вставать не следует. Ну,
yeah, Cerberus as well getting involved here on top of FaZe. So FaZe tried to third party this fight a bit and instead got cut apart as they tried to
Нави там слегка разрезались, Ивана не доели. FaZe немножечко заруинили 17-м. Или 17-й фейзов.
And TE is appreciative of everything that 17 has just done with Navi, as now they're trying to regroup right next to Danoas. You can see Helen is looking down into them. We do also have Wildcard that's trying to crest on the other side.
О, сюда Wildcard еще подкатывается. ТЕ, да-да. Тут нормально сейчас будет.
It's going to be Ninja that finds it. Example also in range does take down Shu, as there's just so many firefights. They're so important right now.
Helen just kind of lost track of where the farmost left
Ленку уже салют не спасет. Кого-нибудь, может быть, еще подъезд. Вайлдкарты, что в итоге делают, я не понимаю. Кто-то сдох уже из вайлдкартов. Поднялись что-то наверх, ни туда, ни сюда, сейчас сами в бутерброде сдохнут. Что они делают? Нафиг. Ясно. Почему не пошли лево играть? Нави все-таки решили рассыпаться до конца. У них что, машины разбили там или как?
Наверное, взорвали.
Они что-то вообще ни рыба, ни мясо. Не доехали до кемпа, не... Ну, три команды наши. Коэмы, Твайсы и Нави.
Gonna follow up. This could be the end of Salute. No, it bounces too far. Had too much steam on it. And getting past him, Levies uses his last frag to see if he can get the finish. Once again, way too far here. So Salute still alive, still has an opportunity.
He is making this work. 6 kills. I don't even know what happens when we get these solo
Салют уже в
plays
зоне,
from
еще
Dano, but they
почилить
find a way
может.
to make it happen.
17-е закрывают фейзов, хотя это коэмы закрыли фейзов. 17-е потеряли одного игрока. Поэмы эту игру могут хорошо сыграть.
Если не наступят на темашек.
Хотя снизу сейчас у них довольно-таки некомфортная позиция, на мой взгляд. Но Церберусы сейчас будут немножечко другим заняты. А Доус пошел на фидел. Но нокнул двоих, да? Одного доел. Остался Лайт Гост один, его должны поэмы дожирать. Хае не точная. А Доуза, если молик попадет, походу не попал моликом. Каждый раз я у тебя спрашиваю одно и то же. Ну вот потом из-за таких, как ты, я на нормальных людей буду агриться. Из-за того, что одни и те же вопросы. То есть я тебя должен запомнить только потому, что ты каждый стрим задаешь один и тот же вопрос. Правильно? Кто наши? При этом не каждый стрим, а стрим только где смотрю компетитив PUBG. Хорош, братан. Лучший способ для того, чтобы тебя запомнили.
And have the pathing to work around. Spyro prepped up the nade, and that smoke is just going to be a giveaway position for it. Rillo does finally find out Salute, so the hero play coming up from him is going to go down. Spyro also going to get spotted out, as it's going to be Cerberus still up on top of that hillside.
Это Спайро решил ничего не делать, когда по нему начали попадать.
Ты там уже не успеешь сориентироваться.
Lil Ghost, and he gets some help again. It's going to be Tycon this time who gets the knock on the fill first. That opens up space for him to cross the road. Has to prone down as the drive-by is coming through. Oh, he got the knock. He got two knocks.
He got bounced out, though. He's now off in Neverland. Dante's now jumping out. Show has to look back in, figure out what's happening with it. You can see Dante. He's just trying to
надо прямо...
flushes, but it's going to be Show that finally does take
Вот 17-е даже из этой ситуации вышли победителем, сделали 8 фрагов нахер.
My word, did he make question mark pay for it, and a great follow-up from our
Жесть.
show. Just wonderful to see him perform like
Подожди, их же... Их трое или четверо осталось?
Кого?
Коемов.
Трое, только что троих они убили.
Hold the mountainside and have all of the vision and all of the control. Don't forget about TMA either, clinging to life.
Нет, это, конечно же, не онлайн, братан, это запись.
As they're limping in, it's going to be 17 Gaming that has got to be very careful. Show has so many different people that are looking at him. His nade's now starting to come in United's direction, and they just cannot find a way up this hillside.
17-е, видать, выиграют финал, но рано еще говорить о том, что они что-то выиграют. Но они достаточно хорошо играют, прям уверенно, очень. Особенно вот в первой катке файт с Донавой мне очень понравился. Прям... Вот это вот умение вслепую кидать хае, еще взрывать людей, я не знаю, там понятно, что звук туда-сюда, но все равно вот...
Yeah, no way. Yeah, those was again. It's just too steep. I mean, this part of the hill is just way too steep.
У ТЕ есть шанс игру выиграть, ё-моё.
TMA gone, so it's Show versus the two Vietnamese teams. Our two APAC representatives still left in this particular game. 9 kills though for 17.
Блин, а у ТМА прям такой настрой хороший, сидят, улыбаются, прям смеются.
Хочу им грустить.
Но
они ж не фейзы.
Суть в том, что они не напряженные, они на веселе. По всей видимости, отличная атмосфера у них там, даже с учетом того, что они далеко не в лидирующих позициях.
It looks like he found a vehicle actually. He's making a drive.
Where is he going to go? I guess he's going to try to wrap into this one. Cerberus actually can have a massive come up. It's not quite done yet. It is going to be Duck Juice that does pick him up. So, with this Cerberus, now you've got the
вообще выглядит, как Церберусы должны забирать.
This is a complex section to have a fight.
I mean, this has just been a wonderful game, and if Cerberus can win this, what a cap on an absolutely beautiful performance, controlling the top of this for the entirety of this game, basically.
And Navi needs to be scared.
Я же сказал, что ТЕ могут выиграть. Типа. Это их шанс подняться со дна чуть выше, чем сейчас.
Всплыть из болота и вдохнуть один раз.
Может быть, там озеро с кристально чистой водой. На нахер.
Gonna go ahead and toss another one down there and see if they can get it. Gonna go too far, but I mean, hey, that's a hard throw on a hillside. What is Cerberus now going to do? Are they going to make the charge in, or are they going to play it slower? Looks like they're still just going to continue to rain down damage.
Yeah, TE needs to clear some space with some grenades of their own. Duck Juice is
Да,
the
TE
last one
очень
that
слабый.
he has. If he can find the knock here, it'd be huge. He does get the knock on the high Saki. Ninja's got another one, but he's going to go down to the blue. It's all on Duck Juice.
What can
Хорош,
he
чувак.
do now? It is a 1v2
Ну ты же 1-2, давай.
Up against the wall. Don't forget the fact that they're already sitting at 7 kills. He plays the low side.
1v1.
Another one, 1v1, looking up the hill. He's taking a ton of damage. It's just Himas up there, and
Yes.
Himas does take the victory.
Huge control there at the end from Himas. Just had a better
Oh,
angle with that
NT-чё?
rock, able to stay undercover a little bit more, but man, oh man, Duck Juice.
Это что, это сын у Лумино или
single-handedly
что?
wiped out Cerberus to win that one. What a great finish.
That's a big one
Чё,
for
кто,
them,
у
too.
кого?
I mean, Cerberus,
У него
this
сын
is a
есть или нет?
massive come up, but the
А, не
Expendables
знаю.
needed some points, and they picked up a lot of kills. Don't ever forget about
У
Doug.
Мумино?
Talk about superstars all
Да.
the time. He
Не.
is trying for his team so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I said in an interview before this event that if there was any team to watch out for that could surprise people,
то
it
с
was
ним
these
малой
boys right
поцик
here.
уже
Cerberus
который
has
раз я
an
вижу.
absolute ton of firepower. I mean, they have great leadership, they have great coordination, they have Tycon, the up-and-coming superstar, and this is a well-deserved, well-earned win. That is not an easy position to lock down like they did.
I am still just astounded that what they were capable of doing. That is, I don't think that I've seen a team be that dominant on Everest in a long time. And to do it with the teams that they were competing against, that were trying to push up and kill so many good ones at the same time, that's just absolutely mad. And I know the desk, where are we going? Cerberus is so hot right now.
Я так понимаю, это просто
Thank you,
стадион?
gentlemen. Well, if trends
Я
continue,
так
we're
понимаю, это
going
просто
to
ангар.
that part of the map on the next game, but let's talk about this
Даже
one.
так думаешь? Мне
As
кажется, это
Cerberus
стадион
adds a
обычно.
second chicken to their
Не,
count
думаю,
Какая-нибудь
for the grand finals
какая-нибудь
and dominates from
это...
the top of the
Волейбольная арена
Хоккейная
какая-нибудь?
или волейбольная, какая разница? Ну вряд ли волейбольная.
Не, я думаю, ангар какой-то.
Takes the top of Everest, and they just run it from there, right? I mean, it was just a ridiculous amount of points that they were able to pick up for themselves. And, I think they got a little bit of help as well.
Так, ладно, ребят, увидимся на следующей игре буквально через несколько минут. Давай, у нас, по-моему, следующая, после следующей длинная пауза, да, после этой нормальная должна быть.
Not so good for everyone else trying to chase the very top guys. And then FaZe Clan, Na'Vi, they tried to take them down here, but it's just insane. Like, Lil Ghost is just too good.
I mean, look, 17, what, Na'Vi, FaZe Clan, QM, all of them, and they still had one left alive. Like 17 is
if
just
it wasn't for the car,
they can't be killed, man.
They
They're
can't
the
kill them with
unkillable
bullets.
demon
They gotta
kings.
use cars.
It's ridiculous.
It
like
really
Hulk
was.
trying to throw cars. You know,
Right?
like, oh,
No, but it really was.
Everything
I mean,
you can.
in that fight in particular, we saw Na'Vi fighting with 17, and FaZe was like, oh, we'll third party this. And then 17 somehow turned themselves into the third party in that fight. Like, they just seem unstoppable. And then, end of the game, we go to the top of Everest, a nice little standoff between the Expendables and Cerberus. Poro. Cerberus looks good. Tycon, I think, turning back on a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it helps by having the top of the mountain and nobody really kind of pressuring you. I mean, Twisted Minds was holding on to that western edge rather, and you had fights going on the eastern side. I mean, Cerberus was able to take over literally the entire top of Everest, take care of everything on the north side, third-party things onto the south side. 3,154 damage.
That's a 3K club.
3K
club.
How many of those we got?
Not many.
Not many.
I don't think we've even got one. 12 grenades, but only one smoke. If you can win a game, if you can win a game with one smoke, in my book, you're using the terrain to your advantage exactly how you should be. Executed perfectly in this situation here. And we saw it, and these guys have been proving it to us throughout. Also, what we saw from Haisaki yesterday, that double headshot, some of the nastiest spray frames I've seen so far here at PGC 2022. And now them wiping multiple teams, maintaining control, and staying 4 guys alive for that long is just super impressive.
I mean, group stages, it was the darlings of APAC, right? I mean, that's all we could talk about was, oh my God, how much this region has just kind of stepped up and found their place here at international level competition. And then it kind of started slowing down a little bit during the beginning here of the grand finals. But you know, this might be one of those games, obviously. I mean, we talk about that big game that just kind of snowballs your confidence that you can pick up off of, and all of a sudden everything that was wrong is now right, and you feel confident in pushing and taking your own destiny into your own hands.
Best week of Xenox's life. Let's take a look at the match leaderboards. 24 points for Cerberus going their way, and yet again, 17 Gaming comes out with 14. Question Mark does get 9, but Martin, I swear, it's felt like half of Europe was working together to get rid of 17, and they just couldn't do it.
They did eventually, with some help.
With some help.
But yeah, 3 teams did try indeed to take them down. Honestly, the way they played on that compound, they were trying to like kind of just make a good play with some smoke, get across the road, but everybody else was trying to gatekeep them. We saw Navi trying to gatekeep. We saw Question Mark eventually, obviously getting our car kill on Lil Ghost, but Lil Ghost was just insane. Xiaowu did insane, like 14 points there. Yeah. If somebody doesn't stop them today, they're gonna be unstoppable for the last day.
I mean, that's one of my problems.
Oh, three points off the 1K club.
Oh, 3 points off the 1K club. I mean, this is big though, and when we talk about 17, it's because all 4 of the players are doing well. Cerberus hasn't been in that same conversation up to this point. We've kind of always talked about 1 or 2 players popping off. Everyone was coming through.
I'll tell you something. Start of the day, they were in 9th place. Now they're going to be in 5th with 3 points behind Navi.
All right.
It's actually nuts.
Poro, 129 points up on the top. Twisted Mind still trying to close that gap, but 17 seems unstoppable. Wildcard, who we just saw up at the top of that, like in the mid-pack, falls back down.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what we were talking about in the middle of the game. It's like Wildcard makes this huge jump to 5th place. And we're like, oh, man, that's like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars difference. And then one game, it's just right back down to 9th. I mean, that's how close all these guys are. That's got to be the most tilting thing on earth. But, you know, again, still plenty of time left. You still got 1 more game on Erangel, 2 more on Miramar. So we'll see how it shakes out.
1 more on Erangel, 2 more on Miramar. It is going to be a barn burner as everyone tries to figure out how do we stop 17. Let me ask you, Poro. I was going to say, we have 1 chance. If you are, I mean, I know you coached the Rumblers and got them to do pretty well there in Sweden. What would you tell these guys? How do you stop 17?
Well, first of all, just keep letting Europe try to fight them. That's what you do. Just keep letting just keep throwing bodies at them. It doesn't seem to be having much effect because they still managed to get everybody out of it. But I mean, look, you can't think about 17, right? You got to play your own game. You got to think about yourself. You got to try to play the best to your team's ability to play to your winning conditions, and just whatever happens with 17 is going to happen, you know?
Well, we're going to see what happens with 17 in just a few moments. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's game number 3.
Let's go.
Yep. Pretty bunched up and Tropic trying to make a move in.
They crashed to the south side and dodged them on blue king.
He is going to have a good opportunity for this grade.
I might be He's still inside the satellite. One's on my body. Up on the wall. You should aggro that side. Molly out everything. Made Molly go. He's in the open if you do. He's on me.
No, dude, that's terrible.
Wild card that goes down. BGP survive. Moving in, Burram going to be very happy. FaZe as well.
They're driving. They're getting picked up at the bottom. They're getting picked up in this quick on blue.
Knock one.
Nice.
Just stay over there.
Last one behind the car. He's just prone on the rock. Shack, last one Shack.
Nice. 1 hour left, I think.
He's off. In the rock. Nice. Good shoot. You're watching over. You ready?
Yep, ready. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. Now go right. Go low right.
One back left on the car. Keep pushing.
They're mollying.
Good shot. Guess what? Wildcard's not done. They're going to move out of their high ground position.
천천히. We need to go. We need to go towards them. 야 태영아 삽 끌고. 여기 가봐. 가봐. I put a smoke down. Knock one. Two knock. 자 연막 쳐. 연막 안 있어. 나 투자 나 쳤어. 블라디 온다.
You have to go left. Go left and kill him. Go left and kill him. Nice. I'm gonna take zone. I can see everything. I'm getting smoke out.
에이 구동 가봐. 왔다. ยิงขวาทางโอเคสี่กูถอยกลับลงไปก่อนกูสโมกกลับมาได้ไหมกลับได้ผมกันไว้รอก่อน
Throwing smokes towards them, guys.
One's going knock him. Just chill.
สวยอย่าเพิ่งน็อกนะไม่มีกูมีไฟมาที่กูแฝด5 ลูกมาชุบนะ
Push this guy at the mountain. They need to done damage.
Peek the right.
มันน่าจะผู้ชายมึงหาไฟไปได้นะ
Knock one.
Here we go. Moving forward. It is going to be a massive kill.
No!
Go, guys. Good job.
22 kills.
What?
22 kills. Megabot now looking into GEX, doing some good.
Вот там БГП иксы. Нам это сейчас закрыли.
У нас спину надо.
Подождите, они выберутся, мы сами туда приедем.
3프레바.
3번 QM 3번에 BBL.
Они вообще вдвоем.
Они стреляют, да.
Пиво ног. Там ног можно спиздить, Соник.
Я спиздил.
Еще ног.
Они нокнули.
Бай, Соник.
Хорошо.
БГП, бай.
Го.
킬도 다 뺏겼나?
And then there is just one up over in that position.
I'm flying inbound, I'm waiting for you. Catch one reaches. One more there. Very short as well.
Under the bridge almost.
Bring up to the bridge now.
Chỗ này còn rìa này còn mò này tí nữa bơi vào được đấy.
They seem firmly committed to ruining a lot of teams' days back.
Còn cái đường biên bo còn anh nhìn cái hướng anh chuẩn bị vào bo tiếp đi xem như nào. Đó bật đầu cái anh xem kêu được không? Một của nó mặt này kêu được anh ạ. Cao bên trái được. Nhìn phải. 끝났어. 영막 쳐줘. 빨리 왼쪽으로. 아, 네. 그리고 너 못.
But he's done it. Levies has gotten ahead of Bagel Pa. That's going to put them up into 4th place.
Nhìn trên đầu anh ơi, xem trên đầu như nào. Ui. Hơn thằng kia rồi.
We have Cerberus that's got a very strong control area that they're playing up on the high ground.
一会儿可以封右边烟，跟右边打。能救吗？我封到烟了，可以救。
死了就死了，没办法。
往左 OK 吗？往左我觉得可以。我往前走，救不了。往前走，你去先趴着。我看一个吧。被封烟了。嗨。我打位埋尾上喽。別抬太高，封上面煙懂嗎？要喺邊打㗎？你玩俾我，你上樓。給我打一個。慢慢磨。我呢分散點。把sát trái bắn như mà cây gần, cẩn thận gốc cây gần có. Ông hoàng dưới đang bò dưới chứ mà. Em hết đồ đẹp ơi. Đó rồi. Thì móc quả chứ mặt mày đi solo. Che chỗ kia không có.
我想往上走了。
别往上面走点。
往右上走行吗？往右。那个石头有个人。
右位死。Chặn nó. Rồi tao lên liêu hai. Rồi. Rồi.右位死。別等我，忍會兒。một cố từ từ.
No, he's gone. It's going to be Cerberus.
Ngoài đồ.
Folks are now starting to line up onto it. Are they just trying to get a running start with their vehicles? Yep.
Đây.
He stopped in front of us.
Knock one.
Nice. Burns the right there.
ต้นไม้ขวาเลยได้ไหมดูได้วะ
ไม่ได้ว่ะเฮีย
What west stage? West.
Yeah,
I'm coming with you, I see.
They're behind the tree, like 5 minutes behind it. Pick it right, two guys.
Knock one.
一起，兄弟们一起。烟那个。右边烟的。
It's 3 enemies right now. I think T5 is 2. Try to lose one, okay?
เราปั๊มยานะพี่ต้นปั๊มเลยลองดูทำมิ่งขวา
I'm gonna drop after. Hey, no, spin. I'm ready.
ไปมา
น้องหนึ่งโอเคขวาได้
Maybe pushing. Come, we need to pick this. I'm gonna flash them. You guys do that, okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna throw here.
右边树有一个，跳过去了，看见没？石头有，看你了。
好，第
2แล้วว่ะต้องเล่นว่ะ
ไปเลย
บาดเจ็บมาก
Press. Both there. Same place. They're pushing. On me.
One knock.
One up. Yes!
Go.
Please does manage to pick up their chicken dinner and is going to the grand finals. 17 Gaming will just not relent. Cerberus have had themselves a great game, but the thing to watch off of this one is still the continued 10 plus points per game by 17 Gaming. This is going to be our last Erangel heavy day, as Miramar is going to be our 3 tomorrow. How much more can they manage to put up?
I mean, it felt like if you were going to be able to hold 17 back, it had to be on Erangel today, because this is where they are. You know, they've been most dangerous throughout this tournament. That's where they're putting up their most points, but no one's been able to stop them. They continue to just absolutely brutalize this lobby on this map. So, I mean, they brutalized everybody on this map all year, to be honest. Nobody's been able to stop them. They are just a absolute force of nature.
I feel bad because this is just such an absurd set of points that we're seeing 17 Gaming capable of, like, putting out. I mean, Lil Ghost alone is just 25 kill points.
Oh, he's bananas. I mean, again, it's just, you know, like I said at the beginning, you're going to need to call the Ghostbusters on this guy because he's just dumb. I mean, that double spray that he had on QM when they were driving at him, yeah, sure, they ran him over, but he got 2 of them before they got there. I mean, just absolutely nuts what he's able to do individually. Show, of course, is, you know, right there with him. Suju has been a wonderful substitution player for this. Of course, Xiaobei, you know, had visa issues, couldn't make it to this event, but Suju has stepped up masterfully for them.
So here's the question. Do Twisted Minds pick up, like, Egon or Peter Venkman? like, who is the go-to pick?
I'm an Egon kind of guy, so it may not surprise you. As, you know,
yeah, I know.
That's, you know, I got a science degree in school, so yeah, I was kind of an Egon guy.
I mean, he is pretty good, too. All right, looking through. Plane path, you can see that it was leaning into the north, so wouldn't be surprised if we see another northern leaning circle. And hey, we're not over on the west coast this time. We're moving up around that Stolber Yesnaya area.
Yeah, you can see right now our kill and damage leaders. You know, Lil Ghost is topping the charts, but Soul not too far behind him. He's had a big 4-kill game today, so it seems like the kills come in bunches for Soul, and that's, you know, that's Donovan in general. It seems like, you know, one player or another is popping off, but they are never... sometimes, except for that one game, all on the same page, and even
Так, это что тут у нас? Новая игра началась? Обалдеть.
But Salute has been doing this stuff all year, for the last 2 years. I've seen him win so many 1vx's in Korea. It's absolutely disgusting. This guy has just when it comes to these moments.
He's just playing this so well. Like, look at how he just uses the terrain to his advantage and just pulls wildcard exactly where he.
Ссылки запрещены.
Yeah, I mean, he beat Twisted Minds.
Ты о чем это, Данул? Так.
I heard you. He's like, I heard the footsteps, and he cooked perfectly, you know, to win.
Можно расчехлять мороженку.
Just to be here in the grand finals.
Look at the damage numbers that we saw Cerberus putting up there. They were just raining hellfire on every single team that was below Everest, and it was. I still am astounded at the fact that they just were breaking apart, holding the top of that, and just holding back E United and Twisted Minds at the same time.
Yeah, nobody could get up that hill. I mean, that's pretty rare. Usually, eventually, somebody figures out a way to find either that west or eastern flank.
You run out of ammo, you run out of something.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But, I mean, in general, I'm talking more like there are 2 ways to get up that hill, right? Either on the east or on the west. And eventually, typically, someone figures it out, but it just never happened. And,
Там близнецы, что ли? Хайки и Сололзи.
Also, the credit has to go to Cerberus because they were doing, especially on that western side where Twisted Minds was, they did not give
Или мне
any
кажется.
space.
Yeah, that was just
Мне
absolutely
кажется.
wild shutdown. Again, momentum now mounting as they are just 3 points behind Na'Vi, and they need to start quaking in
Носы
their boots a
разные,
little
губы
bit.
тоже.
So Na'Vi, the first 2 games today, let's be real, circles have been kind of wild, so it's been harder for some of the teams to find points. Most notably, it is going to be Na'Vi and E United. Twisted Minds doing a good job on finding some salvage, but 17 Gaming just consistent all the time is still climbing up that leaderboard.
And Na'Vi's still kind of riding on their points.
Как Шаман стреляет и клипас включили?
They need to step it up. They need to pick it up. But I mean, I will say, for fans of Na'Vi and Twisted Minds, they've been really, really good on Miramar, those 2 teams. So when we swap maps, you know, you can start, you know, starting to feel a little more comfortable, maybe a little bit.
У каждого есть такой клипас.
Especially Twisted Minds is absolutely nuts on Miramar. They've been disgusting. They've won so many games. I think 3 out of their 4 wins have been Miramar. Maybe all 4. I don't know.
I'm just still astounded by this leaderboard. Okay, TMA 66, Danawa 66, Overpeakers 65, Wildcard 64, Yoho 63.
Yeah.
There's only 1 day to go. There's still only 1 day to go. So this is just ridiculous. I guess this is the 3/4 of the way through match.
Ну все, вот.
Yeah, I mean 6/10 is nuts. I mean a win for day trader.
Показывают нам теперь предыдущий топ-2. То Церберусов, то Е.
You know,
Ничего интересного на карте не происходит, блин. Хорош шуршать.
The middle tends to get compacted, and
Стань.
pressure starts to be put on them, and every placement point matters for them. Every kill, everything starts to really add up because, you know, again, every spot you change on the leaderboard changes your money by tens of thousands of dollars. So, absolutely a lot to play for, a lot to keep track of, a lot of excitement. Even if your team's not in the lead, there's still a lot going on, a lot to root for. That's what makes PUBG beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you can do the pick'ems, you can do fantasy, you can get involved in all of that stuff. At the end of the day, these matches are absolutely astounding to watch the best of the best and how they navigate these. It's just mind-boggling the way that, specifically, I'm just going to say, 17 handles everything. At Wild Circles, doesn't matter. Losing a couple of members early, doesn't matter. They just figure it out.
Yeah, their knowledge of the game is insane.
17-е с начала игрового дня увеличили разрыв между первым и вторым. А, стоп. Ну да, увеличили. Было 9 поинтов.
I predicted them for PCS 6 and PCS 7 Asia this year to be the winners. They were close, but never able to get there.
Теперь уже 14.
Road and New Happy being the ones that won both the PCSs in Asia this year, but now, you know, this is what matters most, right? This is PGC.
What do we have going on here? Little Ghost going to be running up right next to Twisted Minds.
А вот это неприятно для... А знают ли 17-е про них?
NLT, жопа. Nades are now starting to be prepped, tossing them out. You can start to hear the shouting going on by the audience and the players both. Molotov's coming out to slow down everything and any approach that's going to be happening. Looks like reinforcements are coming in from Twisted Minds, but they got to get there quick.
Yeah, 17 had a good read on this position that there would only be 2 there. However, they haven't been able to find that knock to really start feeling comfortable to push space, and that is going to allow Twisted Minds to reinforce this. And let's see if this becomes a stalemate or if somebody's going to find a knock and try to just end the fight. There are a lot of
Две команды number one.
players kind of watching this, shooting into it as well. You can see some shots ringing out from Donat.
В первой зоне решили драться за кемп.
He's the one that's on an
Они
island.
что-то знают? Или это как-то странно?
Dangerous position.
So now it's all just a matter of seeing who gets the peak first. You can see both teams playing this very, very safe, realizing how important.
Что тут происходило, что-то интересное?
Ну, до сих пор не особо. Вот сейчас NLT с 17-ми что-то в первой зоне за кем купились.
Может, NLT решили конкурентов подубить?
Нет. Это 17-е заехали на NLT.
They are just going to use that to steamroll the other. Now there is the option here for 17 that they can potentially back out of this if they can get Lil Ghost out of his 2-story.
При этом, откуда они знали, что тут кто-то из них? Что-то я не понял.
But I mean, with the first and second place team here, I mean, this is a nail biter. This is so tense.
This could pretty much cement how the leaderboard is going to be looking for at least the remainder of the day. Now, Perfectix, the rest of the team, they know this. They know that they need to make something happen here as 17 has just had the pedal all the way down and just flooring it up that leaderboard, going as fast as possible. But no weakness that is found right now by Twisted Minds. They are doing such a great job of holding this together. And look, you can see Xiaolu's moving everywhere just to see if he can spot something. And there is nothing. Twisted Minds isn't even opening a small gap in their defense.
Yeah, the call here for Twisted Minds is to just hide and to, you know, hold angles and not give any opportunity for 17 to find one of those shots. And I'm not sure if the Bolt ever took a shot for Xiaolu or not. Couldn't quite tell myself if I ever heard one come through. Spiral just checking a corner, seeing if he can get a little bit lucky. And Perfectix, they know he's on the roof, and you know, whether it be Suju or Show, they've been keeping track of him. A little bit of damage from Perfectix, but
Донава еще там
that's just a clip into the
мешает, блин.
Suju, easily healable.
Там-то ешки еще он где-то едут.
Всего 20 матчей будет.
А сегодня сколько?
А не пойти бы тебе нахер?
В смысле, нормальный вопрос. Что ты сразу? Фу. Агрессивный стример.
Клоун.
Nobody has been keen to try to take advantage of it. It's only Circle 1, so it's a lot more, you know, difficult to kind of justify
Я не удивлюсь, если сейчас будет прок, и 17-е просто уедут. Вот.
Кто первый начнет уезжать, тот может пизды получить.
Ну, мне кажется, НЛТ могут не успеть им дать лишь. Хотя там Лу сидит. Так, эксперт с никнеймом Светик говорит, что 17-е походу победят. Как вы считаете?
Если Светик это не 40-летний мужик, то я привык доверять женскому полу.
Нет оснований не доверять Светику, считает Элрик.
Specifically the southwest of Yasnaya, we all know that that can be really, really messy. So teams are just trying to leapfrog over that as fast as they can.
Yeah, example should be able to find the finish. You can just see the backside of Duck Juice there. Yeah, indeed, it's going to be a much.
У меня трансляция сдохла. Нормально. О, Лил Госта сейчас приговорят. Ай, плохая. Ой, хорошая!
What does Twisted Minds do now? They saw exactly who that is, prepping up the nade. They want to get this one out. You can see 17 Gaming also realizing.
Ой-ой-ой, но это надо НЛТ пытаться. Что? Прыжки просто пытался.
But Twisted Minds cannot find the angle to exploit it.
That's huge. What a recovery here for Suju, getting their superstar Lil Ghost to safety for now. You can see Twisted Minds.
Теперь у НЛТ есть инфа по всем.
Хорошо. Инфа-то у них и так была по всем.
What does Twisted Minds want to do from it? Keep in mind, again, this is outside the safe zone. Twisted Minds now starting to assert more and more.
Светик ставит жопу на 17-х, если что. Скорее всего, там не Светлана. Светка, ну-ка жопу кидай нам в телегу.
Нужно понимать, с чем мы имеем дело.
Might even consider thinking of just missing out of this, moving into the next circle. There is still Danawa on the other side, though. So if they still have that information that Danawa looms in that forest to their east, then yeah, you probably don't want to push out until you've really make sure.
Повторюсь, если там Александр, 40-летний, который пришел со смены, то жопу кидать не нужно.
This is massive respect coming out from Twisted Minds. They had the numbers advantage, and they're still like, no, this is 17. You still got to play it safe. You still got to play it slow.
Too many teams have learned the hard way that fighting 17 up close and personal.
Вот, это уже нормальный мув. Правда, там со спины. О, увидел типа. Сейчас будет взрывать его. А, сейчас будет Батулина взрывать. Батулин, сейчас тебя будут взрывать. Ну как ты думаешь, развязка этого противостояния?
Я думаю, что НЛТ сейчас просто уедут.
Я думаю, что они даже уехать нормально не могут. Ты смотри, как команды расположены. У меня трансляция сдохла.
Я тоже.
Я обновил, НЛТ сдохли. Нави хорошо сидят. Да что с трансляцией, алло? Алло! Я думаю, что они сейчас все сдохнут там. У тебя работает?
Нет.
Голос есть, картинки нет. Все еще сидят в кемпе, если честно.
No matter what.
This is an ego fight. I mean, this is absolutely nothing but, I mean, for Twisted Minds, it's a smart fight to take.
Капец лагает транса.
That's better than Levies, 7-7, doing some work. Ian able to trade one back. Lash should be flushed here in just a moment. Indeed, he is in the Kwangdong Freaks once again.
Алло. Ой-ой-ой, шоу что делает? Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. А Лужа уехал. А Спайро про него не знает. А теперь знает. Ай-яй-яй-яй, Лу! Ой, Суджу успевает.
Push that corner.
Nobody can make anything happen the way that they want. It's just starting
Хорошо.
finds show, gets the knock onto him, but you can see that damage is just continuing to mount. The longer that both teams stay here, it's just going to destroy them both.
Yeah, this is starting to get rough now for 17. It's going to take
А Перфект все это время тут был?
to finish the job. Suju still that pump in hand, or putting it back into his hands, going to start reloading it. And Twisted Minds might be like, well, this is good enough. We can dust our hands off. We did our job.
Решили
Let's get out of
выезжать.
here.
Правильно делают. Донава как раз их отпустила, это хорошо.
Oh my God, Lou was trying to run away. They had two
Лу высадил, чувак. Да ладно.
And now it's going to be Soul also running it. We've got the edge firefight that is just absolutely popping off between Danawa and Day Trade. While this is happening, we also have Cerberus that could be coming in the path. And this is also exactly where we're going to see Twisted Minds or
Донава Дэйв раскидала, лол.
Around this Alamo position.
Yeah, Soul and Salute combining for a lot of damage. And speaking of damage, Suju might be knocked by the blue. Indeed, he is. Perfectix had done enough by the time Suju got through the window that the blue is going to finish the rest. And Xiaowu, maybe we get the replay, please, please, please. Hopefully we can see that shot onto Lu. That would be.
Да ладно. Перфект в ноке.
У тебя задержка, они уже убили их.
It's still popping off, and man, this is just going to be AoE damage to finish out everything. 17 games.
Я из будущего.
Dante chasing. It looks like he's going to let him go, but out in the open is Solalzi under the purview of the heaven position from Yoho.
We come from the hell that is the blue zone in the firefight between 17 Gaming and Twisted Minds, now over into heaven, where Yoho sees so much. FaZe Clan has control over the match, and we're going to try to give you guys everything that we can, as Danawa is going to continue to make the press into where question mark is.
Так, Килферст разваливает Донаву, но сам развалился в итоге. И Донава в итоге фулл стаком встала назить QM, да?
Then they have the southern control to themselves, and it is safe enough that you can play from there. Meanwhile, TMA really putting the hurt in.
NLT остались вдвоем, Перфекта не спасли, что ли? Или кто, или
За четвертой зоной, как они спасут? Ты шо, клоун?
Там была не четвертая точно еще на тот момент.
Там сошлась четвертая сразу через 10 секунд, как Перфект нокнулся.
It just nosedive pretty quickly here. TMA just too much for them to handle. Now Wildcard might get involved. Danawa continues to push forward. You gotta be careful. Soul ran over Lambo. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but things happen as Soul is able to take out.
Брат, кидай.
They're both gonna trade grenades in just a moment.
But we also still have a fight that's going on in so many different places. We have Navi that's trying to hold out Twisted Minds just to the northwest of this. Danawa is still just trying to cling to life in what is a desperation fight over here against Hobbits. They still Hobbits gets a good read into it, but it's just going to be Soul moving it. Finally, question mark manages to take them down. Dante's going to come in to reinforce, and while this is going on, you can see that so many people are dying. We're already at 34 down.
Yeah, Tropic here doing a great job trying to take advantage of the confusion that is going on in this forest. Wildcard.
Ну такое себе замутили 17-е, конечно.
In the flank, Adam has to prone up behind the hill, trying to hold the line for his team, and Tropic continues to try to brute force their way through and gain some kills.
Keep in mind, Twisted Mind did go down as well, so we're looking at a potential climb for some of these other teams finally.
Что за два рэпера, я не понял, блин.
Entropic now caught up over here, and this is just a TMA, Entropic, Wildcard, as well as still having United Snakers all around this hillside. They're all fighting inside the forest.
Yeah, this is just a wild one, as you know, United is trying to sneak out of this and get as many points as they can. Greg Shot's got that AUG, got that level 3 gear sitting on top of him. He might be able to do some real damage, finding the backside, finding the flanks of Entropic, trying to get them while they're tunneled in on TMA in front.
Sin's gonna come out from Navi. It looks like they're
Нихера там Нави полетели.
Да, Нави под Яху заехали, там чувак, ну они под ног поехали. Чувак там нокнутого пытался унести. Но в итоге что-то пошло не так. И сдохли оба. И Нави вообще с кайфом сидят теперь. Капец, что за... Грег последним шотом чувака убил. Вайлдкарты еще поднимаются по таблице, блин. ТЕ подъезжают под Нави. Я не знаю, Нави слышали это, нет?
Я думаю, тут теперь точно слышали.
About it because I'm sure if Navi, feels like they're comfortable enough to go and start throwing some grenades down here, they might be able to just wipe them out.
Подожди, а где, почему Нави трое осталось? Они давно потеряли или сейчас где-то?
Они, по-моему, втроем пушили. Уже заезжали втроем. Ликвиды еще подъезжают. Но все равно Яху-то в доме покомфортнее сидят.
Hard to navigate over in heaven, as throwables are going to be in range for so many of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, for Navi, now that I kind of reassess the situation a bit, it is a bit tough for them to push out because of Yahoo up on the other half of heaven, and James here just scrambling to try to get forward, to try to find these grenades at the point man. Still quite a few in the bag. Gonna blow up that car at the very least. I think he might have just caught a glimpse of the backside of TE there. And that one is going to beat Levies, and it did actually catch them. James takes one in the face.
А как Джеймс вот так вот выходит спокойно, фулл роз, бегает? Что за фигня? Никто не смотрит.
А Нави не пикают лишний раз, чтобы ног не словить. У них типа челы разбираются под граундами и похуй. Просто так пикнешь кого-то и нокнешься, и тебя забегут с граунда.
Нигери третий броник не спас, конечно, от Берила.
Things starting to slide the wrong way for FaZe Clan.
We have Overpeaker's Bard that was taking some shots over at Wildcard as well as Overpeaker's just
going to... Да я вообще full пассив, ничего не сделали еще.
777 did move down this hillside, so if Overpeakers does choose to overpeak this, they could find themselves getting dropped pretty quick.
Yeah, it's tough for Overpeakers here because they have to rely on nades to do damage to the expendables. Because if they push this hill, Navi's just gonna lay into him with their guns, going for the res.
Вайлдкарты, блин, вчетвером в одном домике сидят.
Gustav has been res for FaZe, so both teams
с кайфом в тюрягу забежали. Ну ТЕшки, сделайте что-то. Просто ни одного нока даже не дали. Ну Нави сейчас принимать этот пуш. ПМы еще живые, но я думаю, что ненадолго.
Ну, кстати, возможно, и надолго.
Но если кто-то подъедет под Яху, то, наверное, там уже все. Если они сами не подъедут.
Так они сами могут подъехать под Яху.
Если они сами подъедут, там никто не помешает Яху выйти над ними и убить их. Конечно, там не скажешь. Там нет никого.
Так там можно засейвиться, чтобы они не уходили.
Нельзя, там, если они выйдут, то все. Они могут спокойно...
Стоять на склоне вот тут и все, и пикать их. Не обязательно же сидеть под ними в яме АФК. Есть вероятность, что ликвиды могут в них пойти тогда, но все равно, типа, у них нет других вариков. Ну, либо в поле за камень и уезжать и вставать в зоне где-то внизу.
Oh, well, did they? No. No, I was gonna say. That's, all right, now it's gonna be Overpeakers just.
Так, там, ребят, донатик от экстаза на карту Сбербанка, 2 сотки за билетик. Спасибо огромное.
On their own account, as they're gonna start doing some throwables out here, and Overpeakers now with the sounds coming out, it's gonna be QM trying to run in. You can see that they're gonna get dropped by Yahoo at range.
Так, ну ликвиды что-то как-то неуверенно пушат.
This one is the fight is still going on between FaZe and Wildcard, as they're gonna have to leave the mansion and the forest.
You're losing that level 3.
Wildcard решили подраться с фейзами все-таки, потеряли одного уже. У фейзов есть ног, 2 в 2 сейчас Wildcard. Ну тут без шансов просто. Фейзы еще и полностью...
Просто как детей трахали Wildcard'ов.
Да.
Фекс в соло троих отхуячил.
где там чувак с ТМА вообще?
Внизу под заездом лежит. Волга тоже.
Один Яху, один КМ, один ТМА. А Яху где второго потерял, блин?
Нави с ликвидами разошлись в разные стороны просто по граундам.
Можно сказать, европейский финал.
FaZe, you can see they did manage to right themselves, and they are now going to try to figure out what is even happening in the rest of the circle. But it's not hard to figure out. It's going to be mostly around the heaven area, as looks like Navi is going to lean into the north of this. FaZe is going to spot out Hobbits, who's going to try to do a little bit of a car juke over there. Now their position is revealed. That means that Navi is going to start taking some shots.
Ну, Хоббит минус.
Yeah, and you got a knock again into FaZe here from Alia. Circle continues to shift right into
Хоббит текает вниз.
Garden as you have Yuppie sitting in there. Punich has a house to himself. Open over is Vard. Continues to just be a thorn in the side for these teams. Great job by him. 4 kills. He's had a hell of a game.
Circle did shift into heaven though, so while FaZe had control over the circle and have
Нави вообще с кайфом с таким шифтом.
they are going to be the only team that really has to move in, and that's going to be pretty.
А тут всем с кайфом. На самом деле сейчас фейзы под нами поедут.
На самом деле у Нави лучше, чем у ликвидов. Фейзы подъедут под Юпи.
А потом с Нави им воевать.
Все, фейзы.
Юпи мог бы и выбить.
Quick push out on this one. Jeem's going to be coming in back behind it as well. Overpeaker's just going to be flushing in behind. Yupi's going to drop down. He's going to go down, but it's going to be Navi on one side. FaZe just runs right into it.
Ой, Нави!
This is going to be a look down from Navi. It's just
Хорошо!
That's going to be FaZe gone.
Тут
Overpeaker
ликвиды уже.
continuing the push. I don't know if
А
Navi
ждет ли
knows
он
this is
ликвидов?
just
Хорошо!
read it very, very quickly. Zipple already going to go down.
Плохо.
Now it's just going to be Uba. Navi's got to deal with this, and it's still 3 members of Overpeakers up and active.
Yeah, that's the Groza out of the hands of Navi there. Great timing on this push for the side of Overpeakers. Uba has to play defense. He has to run. He is a solo left, and he gets caught on the corner. Cliven flanked out. Takes him down. 10 kills for Overpeakers, and they look to find a win here in the grand finals.
Вот так вот.
What you got? This is your opportunity to have your superstar moment, but this is going to be a hard superstar moment. This is a squad that hates themselves and hates everybody else more.
He needs to use his frags. He's got 3 of them, so he needs to find an opportunity to find some damage with those if he's going to have any hope of making this work. There's no blue to run to, my guy, and maybe he can just try to find a flank around the edge, just try to confuse Overpeakers. But again, he's damage utility to work with. It's just a matter of finding it.
Yeah, and you can see the Overpeakers, they're not even trying to make sure that they stack. They want to make sure that no nade is really going to connect. There are 2 members in Clib and Mixie that are going to be moving over here. So Punich might be able to get the drop. I feel like this is just going to be more about trying to secure a point that more than anything else. Just try to flush somebody out.
He's got a pump shotgun. I would have liked to have seen him play for the house with that situation there. You can maybe get up on top, find some grenades down the stairs, maybe get lucky with a few of those, and then he might get one. I don't think he's going to get... Oh, no, he looked away.
He looked away at the wrong time. Spots it out. Yeah, they knew exactly where he was.
Зачем развернулся, называется.
Some kills and a strong victory, and that's going to push them up the leaderboard as well.
Yeah, a big win here for the Overpeakers. Just doing a wonderful job of staying 4 up, clearing their space, never overcommitting to anything. Despite their name, you might expect that they overcommit. They do not. They are very, very well disciplined at times.
Easy для Liquid.
Solo players, but when it comes to these late game team fights, they are absolutely really solid.
Hey, I love seeing that face. We never get a chance to see that face enough at PGC. Now looking through this one, we finally had 17 show some signs of weakness. We had the top of the leaderboard finally start going down, so those guys that were in the middle of the pack maybe can start assaulting up, seeing if they can sneak in there. Destiny isn't quite done, and more money is still on the table.
Yeah, this was a huge win in a way, like a moral victory for the side of Twisted Minds, and let's see
ладно,
what our
чатик.
desk has to make of it, guys.
Давайте тогда. Сейчас перерыв у них будет минут 7, наверное, по-моему. И на следующей игре увидимся.
comes through. They hunt down the last member of Yaho.
He was sneaky.
And walks, he was a very sneaky little man.
He was trying to. I mean, look, we saw Punich have some success for Yaho in the the winners bracket, losers bracket, where they clutched themselves out of grand finals position.
In the same area.
Yeah, right in the same area. But I mean, right from the beginning, though, I mean, all eyes were on that 17 Twisted Minds fight. As we were calling it a what were we calling it, Martin? An arm wrestling.
Arm wrestle, I guess.
Arm wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, we call it something else, but we decided we're going to go with arm wrestling for the
bicep measuring.
Honestly, in this case here, like, I would love to see this happen again tomorrow if it's the same case. Like, they're the last two teams to fight for first place, right? All right, let's just hot drop into Garden, and then just let's see who wins. And that's who wins the tournament. It's just a hot drop win, right?
Why not? It'd be fun.
I also like that in the last, I mean, it really was like both of these teams said, you know what? TM goes, everybody else couldn't kill you in the last game.
Right.
We're going to show that we are okay with going in a 4v4, and I think technically they came out on top.
They came out on top. They had 4 guys alive when they tried to leave, but then they said, you know, get back here. And then Lou
found out the hard way that you can't just leave a fight like that.
And also they left so late that once you see in the next couple of circles, you're just going to get damaged and they're not going to get any points further, right? And then it makes it not worth it compared to, yeah, sure, they could win the battle, but...
And while that was the talk of the match, the big chicken does go to Overpeakers. These guys played very, very well. They filled in behind Na'Vi. They didn't push when they didn't have to. And they did a great job of sort of cleaning up all of the chaos down there on the low ground and then just coming up to finish the hunt for the Canaries.
You call them the janitors, maybe?
Yep, kind of. But I mean, look, they look so aggressive, though. Like, they look so good whenever they're, like, just pushing and just W-keying into people. I mean, they made such short work of so many teams. Kept 4 up the whole time too. I mean, it was really impressive, man.
They are mechanically also extremely gifted. Also, you know, with utility in this case here, 23 nades.
Lovely you.
Makes a lot of damage going their way, of course. I'm a little bit sad for Yaho, though. I gotta say, they had this compound here as a full 4-man strong. They had a 2-2 split in the glass building on the southern side of the garage. Just didn't work out for them. They got breached by Na'Vi. They lost a few players throughout, and then in that case, you can just sit back and hope to salvage. Yes, fine. It's fine to get 6 points from placement here, but they could have had much more if they're able to stick 4 guys together in this case.
And it's not the first time, right? Like, this is the second time now that, I mean, obviously shouting back to the Punich game whenever they secured their grand final spot, but this is now 2 times that they've tried to hold this 2-2 split in heaven, and it has not worked for them. So, I mean, I know that they've got to be kicking themselves a little bit here because, I mean, that was obviously a beautiful position for them if they could have managed to keep all 4 up for the late game.
At the face against Wildcard, like the fact that they were a little bit scrappy here and there, but in the end, once it came out in the open, they managed to do well. Then this push here, it's hard at this point here. You can't do much. You know that there's going to be a team on the northern side that's going to have control and it's going to be peeking you immediately, and they're going to be taken down like that. So it worked out to the kind of the best that they could. They also put themselves and got themselves out of kind of last place race a little bit, or got some points in the ball. That case, which means that they're now kind of in the battle for that kind of lower mid-pack, which is currently still a huge one. One more good game, they could jump in, maybe contest top 10.
I mean, the only way FaZe can get there with that chaos is to push into a big fight, and the real benefactor of all of that was Punich, because before that chaos started, Punich was like, well, they're just gonna hunt me down. You saw him switch to the trench gun and hope for the best. Let's take a look at the match leaderboard. 21 total kills for Overpeakers. Na'Vi does get 13. And Poro, this is big news for Na'Vi. They're a scrappy team, but they've been starting to slide down the boards a little bit.
It was absolutely huge. I mean, they had a really bad 4 games at the end of yesterday, and today wasn't looking too much better, and now this is kind of a step in the right direction. Now 13 points, they're back in the mix, and I think that all of us that are fans of wanting to see a little bit tighter at top of the leaderboard here are rooting for him to kind of get back up there.
Overpeakers, winner team focus, all stars all the way across the board, but nothing seems too hard for Vard as he comes away with 6 kills and 400 damage to sort of bring it home for everyone.
I mean, what do you even say? Like, we talked about it, how they are the veteran team, right? They're the veteran squad, and this is kind of what we were expecting all along from them. If they could have just kind of get their heads in the right
They're
place.
calling themselves boomers, right? In this case here, 3 of the players and their coach Phosphase was back at 5 years ago at IEM Oakland, playing 3 different teams. Of course, Mexi and Foss were together in FaceClan at that point, but still, veteran team, legends of the game, have been playing professionally for 5 years.
It's interesting that you bring that up because that has been a bit of a story here. 17 is at 130 total points, being led by a player who's retiring at the end of this year that's been around forever. Twisted Minds being led by a player who knows the ins and outs, a true veteran. And then we've got young guns like E-United, like Cerberus, who have been leading the charge to the future of PUBG, showing up in this event and putting up some big numbers against the veterans, or the boomers, as Overpeakers put it.
Well, I mean, I guess they're all showing that it's not that easy, right? You can't just come in here and say you're going to take the crown. You got to beat the king first, right? And these guys showing that they might be a little bit more on the old side of our scene, but they still have plenty of fragging power left in them, and they are not going down without a fight, man. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
I believe that the old guys can be the ace. I believe they can claim their throne. Let's see if they can do it as we go into our next match. It is the Barons of Banter, Paper Thin, and Matchroom.
I like that one. I don't think I've heard that one before.
Oh, I did. The Barons of Banter. That's a good one.
That is nice, especially moving into Miramar.
Yes, exactly. I'm really, I mean, it kind of brings me some Dune vibes, some Baron Harkonnen vibes here, you know, as we get into it. Yeah, see, yeah. I mean, Miramar time, 2 more games to go today, Matt. It's been a really good one. I mean, again, I love the ego fight between Twisted Minds and 17 in the previous game.
I want to point out something, too.
Sure.
Little Ghost isn't our top killer anymore.
Who is it?
It is going to be Soul.
Oh my goodness, that makes my heart smile.
Yep, slowly creeping up there. Let's not count out any of our Danawa friends just quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, Soul and Salute, I mean, you saw what Salute can do on the side of that mountain in a couple games ago, but Soul he's on another level. I mean, he has been getting better and better and better these last couple of years. The way that Danawa has taken him and molded him into this superstar player is just phenomenal. He's just a great talent, and you'll have to see it. So, a pretty southwestern heavy plane path here, Matt. Maybe another southwest circle. My gut tells me this is like a south or east of Los Leones circle, but we'll see.
Overpeakers coming in, and looks like they're going to be landing just to the south of Los Leones. That's going to be the continuation of what we've been seeing on the Los Leones love, kind of, I guess, love affair going on between them and Entropic, as they are going to be able to get into a good position. And really, I'm kind of curious about this one. I have no idea where the circle's going to end up going.
I mean, it could go north.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God, there's no way Spyro with an ump, a 4x ump at this range.
Dream.
I don't think he even landed a shot. Okay, we're southwest.
Yep. We got a lot of drumstick in there.
Yeah, yes, and we do love chicken here in PUBG, so absolutely love to see that island in there. No damage done, so EU able to successfully land in San Martin and begin the couple minutes of looting that everybody wants to do. Yeah, I mean, I think again, Los Leones is still being split, but we haven't seen any fighting out of it, right, Matt? Like, it's just been kind of, a gentleman's agreement between Overpeakers and Entropic that, look, you take one side of it, we'll take the other, and we're not going to mess with each other until, we at least get out of the city.
It's a very... gentleman's agreement almost makes it seem too nice. I mean, that's Overpeakers down there. You know they're going to shoot if they see.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, it isn't exactly... that. There was no handshake beforehand that said we aren't going to do this.
It's more just like Entropic's like, I don't want to mess with them because they're just going to push us if we fight with them.
The Overpeakers just does not care. There is just no caring at all right now for them. And
there's something to be said about that. Like, having no fear and playing at this stage means the fact that you can just be brave and do some plays that other people might be hesitant to do.
Yeah, I mean, despite some of the early problems that they've had, they're still in 5th. I mean, they're still playing really, really well, getting a big win. And again, it's like every team that wins that's in the middle of the pack today is just all of a sudden shot up the leaderboard up into 5th or 6th. And that's what's going to kind of keep happening if that trend continues.
I mean, we were starting to talk about the fact that there's a lot of separation coming out with our top 4, but like you're talking about, with these teams just being able to pick up points, now instead of having this like very, very heavy top 4, it's starting to flatten out a lot more. Sure, we still have 17 Twisted Minds up at the top, but that slope gets much, much closer now than it did at the start of the day.
It's like a heavy top 2. And then 2 under that, it slides a bit, and then OP is kind of in the middle of another pack before you go from 6th to, I guess I'll go to 10th on this one. That's not a big difference there. That's 6 points from there. And even then, you know, QM at 60, a big win will shoot them up the leaderboard. You know, you can get that 20-point game, and all of a sudden, you know, depending on what CES does, you're maybe ahead of them if they kind of bottom out a bit. So a lot can change here coming into the last, you know, the last couple games of the day. It's 2 Miramars, anything's possible, and that's why we play the games. Again, I talk about it all the time, but you know, PUBG is more akin to a racing circuit. It's more like.
Я не понял, там без меня что ли начали? Какого хрена? Там же долгая должна быть. Долгий перерыв должен быть, а я там лежу такой, думаю, а когда начнется, что-то где?
Почему долгий-то перерыв должен быть?
Всегда долгий между третьей и четвертой.
После второй же долгий.
Какого хрена, блин? Я считаю, что меня нагрели нахуй. Диванный стример на диване вообще нормально было.
Так, открывай новый формат, стрим на диване.
Я уже стримил на диване ПКС какой-то.
Let's see how they want to approach this situation. I don't expect them to fight this at this point because, you know, with that.
Геморройно постоянно камеру таскать, микрофон таскать.
Ты можешь и пабг стримить, все можешь стримить на диване.
Да? Спасибо.
Так, тебе какая разница смотреть-то, ну, типа, как, какой понял?
Whenever we're looking in, FaZe already in position, Freaks already starting to find themselves a spot. This is. With the lower lean into this, a lot of these teams that are really trying to get some value out of just a point or two did get the inside track to get the points that they find, or the places, I should say, in this situation.
Что? Почему вчерашний стрим стрим с ранкедом заблокирован? Чего?
We have had 2 that went to this very south.
Ничего он не заблокирован.
But unlikely, and ooh, Suju has Isaki down and out. That's a point in the hands of 17. And, you know, again, we talk about.
Так, у нас первый фраг на карте, сделали его 17 Gaming.
17 Gaming can't stop, always on the point train.
Отрыв в 13 поинтов от НЛТ у них.
НЛТ бы одну из этих двух выиграть, и нормально.
Да, только 17 Gaming максимально стабильно играют.
Ну, я и говорю, что сегодня хотя бы одну выиграть НЛТ, и уже будет нормально.
Да не будет нормально, все равно отрыв будет.
Да не будет отрыва. Времени сравняются.
Is kind of exciting in a tournament like this, in a moment like that, to see the top 2 teams butting heads, just kind of, it's like 2 rams.
Не знаю, у меня я ничего не запрещал.
And at the end of the day, it was Twisted Minds barely, but
что это значит YouTube там?
Spotted, and you know we've seen overpeakers play from.
Может из-за вчерашних клипов, которые мне ставили на стриме.
Tends to kind of get more low than not, and a lot of teams like that. They like to come from the bottom up on Miramar. It gives a little bit of extra cover as time goes on, typically. So, you know, the old Navi in particular was a team that I would.
А у тебя на PUBG стоит 18+?
We'll see how this works out for those guys.
Нет, это должно быть, что ли?
Ну, у тебя там так жестко атата, что надо бы.
So coming from the south, don't have anybody back behind you and just start marching your way in a line. Kind of like a Sherman's March kind of situation, just burning everything behind you as you go.
Was that Civil War? Is that a Civil War reference?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'll just bring it anywhere.
American Civil War reference on PUBG PGC 2022. Amazing. I was not expecting that one today. Somewhere my dad's very happy. He's a huge Civil War buff.
Look, I'm not just all anime and weeb jokes. I got some history in my back pocket.
Do ya?
Yeah.
All right, I'll believe you. I was more of a World War II kind of guy, you know, just playing like Aces of the Pacific as a kid. I loved flight sims, World War II flight sims. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. As everybody's just trying to either get east or south, maybe north. You know, kind of. You know, it's kind of funny. I feel like I can watch the way that these teams take space in a Circle 1 like this, because we've seen the Circle 1 3 or 4 times in this since you and I have been here in this event, and teams are almost like gambler fallicing it. Like it's normally going to go east in some fashion.
Блин, что-то мне аж холодно стало. Алло, что за фигня?
Зацени план у дейтрейдов.
Maybe that's going to happen. That's totally illogical, but at the same time, if you gamble right, if you roll those dice and it comes up, you know, snake eyes, then that's awful. But if it comes up 2 6s,
you say that, Paper, but see, as somebody that I saw the MPL circle so often, I just always feel it goes down into these hills south of Chumacera.
It's not supposed to.
It may not, but it just always feels it like trends that way. For maybe it's just like,
I think you have like some kind of confirmation bias there, like just
hey,
like
whatever. Hey, it gave us our really cool Minas General circle later.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, look, they're fun. I would prefer to fight on those mountains. I think they're a much more interesting area to fight than in these fields, no doubt about that. But yes, it's just. There's a lot of land ratio terrain up in there, so typically circles don't like to end up in there. That being said, again, we've seen that sometimes that doesn't always matter as Na'Vi out on the beach. Speaking of Na'Vi making south coast rotations, here they are doing just that. And there is wildcard up here. I don't know. They might be driving right into a Matt.
Oh, Na'Vi.
Example не вписался в ворота.
Just getting into position in time. He's not going to be able to take any shots, and he's going to get caught out. He is going to at least try to see if maybe he can defend this. Wildcard's not really prepped. They're going to take some shots, but does manage to get down example. And if you're going to take down somebody on Na'Vi and try to defend, that is a good first pick.
Yeah, great setup here for the side of Wildcard. Adam with an AK though, that spray tough to control. Couldn't find the knock. Stuns are out. They've got Na'Vi pinned here on this rock formation. And you can see they're going to commit a lot of utility into this. And it's a great
Алиса что-то
angle here.
разбазарилась
Great shot,
нафиг.
just mow Zuba down.
Кто-то слышал Алису? Слышно было сколько?
Да, но я только не понял, что она говорила, потому что я смотрел.
Нави вынесли, что ли? Вайлдкарты?
Они в них въехали, не зная, что они тут.
Вайлдкарты въехали?
Нет, Нави въехали. А тут засада.
Gets the knock on the cow, but Adam has Mel. Great shot here is going to come in and finish the job. Navi's slide continues as they are still in fourth, but it is getting ever so close as OP looms in fifth.
Как я и говорил, что Нави...
15-го одного сожрали.
Кто? Донава?
Да.
I mean, I'm so used to these just shifting towards Los Leones that I just kind of got sort of conditioned to it, I guess, myself.
Араб, ты что, еще не уехал?
17 from Donawa, so that's, you know, they get the point, they trade a point. Not the ideal start for 17, but going to hold the northeastern edge. Donawa with a wide 2-2 split in front of them, so let's see if anybody's going to find a way to punish Donawa. We've seen them lose players early. You know, we saw Lambu get taken out by Lil Ghost early, so I guess it's a revenge for Donawa.
Getting something out of it. TMA as well as Wildcard are both going to need to move into the circle, and the pathing for either one of them is not going to be the best. As see that while 17 did get a kill, now they're also going to lose one as well. This area is
А что за зона-то, кстати?
So 17 looks like they're going to be fighting their own way through this one, and looks like TMA is making their sin, and this is going to be a similar pathing that we might see Wildcard take.
Прием, прием.
Ну, видишь же.
Okay.
Не вижу.
They are fortunate that no one had an angle on them.
Право на экране посмотреть.
Stopped for a moment there, and we've seen that multiple times in this event. That the pros will absolutely punish you, Bard. It's a touch of damage onto TMA as they drive underneath the bridge. He's going to be able to see them start pulling up to the rock face. Should be safe for TMA to hide under there.
Ты в госпитале? А что я недавно тебя в Дискорде видел?
Again, they are possible, more likely to go
Не понял.
north or northwest, but doesn't have to.
Онлайн.
We've seen plenty of crazy in this event, so might as well have some fun with it.
Now, seem plenty crazy. Haha. I see what you did there. We were watching.
Ну ни хрена себе.
I'm so glad you got that.
Okay, so Wildcard looks like they're going to.
Ты уже там побывал?
And their solution is to go ahead and say, hey, TMA, go. We might want that spot for ourselves. So it looks like they're going to continue on their merry pathing right into overpeakers, right into Cerberus, and right into, I guess, maybe the hillside.
Давай, выздоравливай.
Really stop. There's not a lot of good this way.
It's not fun, but we have seen teams be able to stay underneath this hill line and survive. However, with Cerberus a little bit deeper into this territory, it's given them some firing lines into TMA, and TMA just by the hair on their chinny chin chins are getting up into the
Сынов одинак, я понял.
On the other side of this road, I mean, if Cerberus starts peeking up and over. Now, the good news is that TE is also sort of watching this with Ninja.
Так, ну и чё, блин, мне не нравится позиция КМов. Просто...
Куда НЛТ летят? Там же зона еще даже не шифтанула.
Okay, so we're going west. So, still, this is possible. It could go north or south of this as well. There's kind of
Ну, НЛТ неплохо. Они что, даже вернуться решили, походу?
Там 17-е летят еще.
Причем 17-е... Не знаю, надо посмотреть эти игры.
Ну, шотик один, попади, Лена.
Freaks are also taking some shots at Xiaowu as he's trying to move forward, but somehow 17 is just kind of getting away with this.
Yeah, they're just kind of squeezing in between people. Reminds me a bit of how Twisted Minds rotates, where they're just
Чё, нормально в Тарков поиграл? Араб.
Get to where they want to go, and Lil Ghost going to be the trailing member here with his teammate.
Ну, это хорошо, что цел жив орел.
Suju was the one who got taken out. I can't remember for sure off the top of my head. I can't see the name, but as they get kind of overlapped when they're in the cars together. Yeah, it's show. I can see the U at the end of the name. Or is it Suju? Oh, it is Suju. I'm wrong. It was another U. Well, there's U at the end of his name too.
Baited.
I got mega baited there.
You got baited.
I wish I could see their names, but that's not the case. Ooh, a headshot.
Yeah, it's always the problem when they give you that +1.
I know. I can't see the other name, and I'm like,
it's like going to a wedding and they just give you the +1, right?
Так, ну такое ощущение, что сейчас 17-е отвалятся, нет? А, хотя ЕУшники решили... Решили свернуть. Тут сейчас такие бутербродные будут.
They're still holding on to a lead over Na'Vi, but it has just been a harder day for them to find the successes that they really desperately want. United trying to find some way to try to at least close in on Twisted Minds, but Twisted Minds, and you gotta get to them, and 17 are just not relenting.
No, absolutely not. I love to see it. Oh, Bard, they spun
Ой,
him
ой,
out.
ой,
And
ой.
it's going to get taken out for it. Now, you do have James getting knocked Bard as well from Greg Shot. So they've got two on the back of the Murado, and they're going to find another one. Who else but Clip from the back of the car?
Что-то какая-то жестокая потасовка получилась. Я не понял, по-моему, уже противостояние Liquid и Wildcard мы видели где-то. В предыдущей игре или до? Не знаю. А, это были Wildcard и фейзы, забей. За кого болеть? Твайсы, Нави и Куэмы. Все команды состоят из 3 игроков из России. Нихера себе приземлился, блин. Ой, как они Как же они сыпятся просто. Даже ног не дали. Просто даже не дали ног. Донава встали закрывать НЛТ. НЛТ... Непонятно там, что-то я 4-го не увидел, где 4-й.
Двое в сосиске, один на горе и один еще в это.
Найс маскировка у пацана.
Я тебе говорил, что я в колду в соло также играл, вот, наступил на парочку таких клоунов. Даже в колде, блядь.
Мы в колду пойдем играть или что?
Не знаю. Надо подумать, либо колду, либо пабг.
Okay, Akari.
Wow. 777 just gets absolutely slapped.
He just blasted out of that car.
Yeah.
Now James looking down at Ninja 2K and gonna be trying to skate.
Да, эта херня без заднего колеса, это жесть, конечно, эта тачка. Нормально он там врезался во что-то. Вард горит, Вард умер. Как пацаны сверху не прикрыли? Из-за этого дыма или что?
Нет, просто не смотрели, видимо. Ну, либо их кавер давали издалека.
Доедят сейчас! Они успели доесть, хорошо. Что там с НЛТ, хотелось бы посмотреть. Донава вон снизу, НЛТ что, вверх поднялись? Или нет, это явно.
Да нет, вроде.
way more down into that TMA direction.
Well, TMA had if there would have been a fight that kicked
Зоопарков? Чё, все так плохо, что ли?
But instead they're gonna have to fight phase now, capitalizing on the space that they have, trying to do some opening damage to TMA. Grenades are gonna be raining in just a second, but Crazy actually finds the first one onto Diggory. Diggory in response gets Lulu always, so it's grenade for grenade, trade for trade, but TMA does not have the same numbers at phase.
Gustav is trying to creep around and find a flank into it, but it's going to be Cerberus, Tycon, who gets done and managed to get the knock onto Gustav. Suddenly, that plan that FaZe had is coming apart. But guess what? Daytrade's also going to try to get involved in what's going on with Tycon and take him down. Now they're looking in. Himos is just going to be completely surrounded by Daytrade, while we have TMA
Густого вообще ликвиды дохавали.
is going to be positioning it, and it's going to be Freaks that are taking the shots into TMA now.
Давай,
The
давай,
real
Араб.
winners of this is 17. They get to just chill on the road and watch everybody else just kind of duke this out. Circle, maybe south, yeah, sort of. And 17 there.
Что ты сказал?
Gonna be chilling on the edge. Now Daytrade is starting.
Густого вообще ликвиды доели.
Both teams, 80 gets taken down. Lulu always had been res, and he's gonna get the
Что-то тяжеловато сейчас будет NLT. А где 17-й? Это, а вон 17-й. Сейчас будут зону закрывать. А, ну они там в ЛГ, да, играли, по крайней мере, до этого.
Seeing if maybe he can pick up something, but whole time 17 Gaming is just going to be looming in the north, waiting for whoever's going to be moving. And be it the red team, be it the pink team, it's going to be a problem. Overpeakers now moving in as well, pretty close to United sight lines. As
Так, мы начали Яху закрывать.
Pretty close to Dynamite.
Yoho's trying to crash question mark over on the other side of this. Lost a player in their drive. Actually, they had to stop short, so that fight didn't really kick off. That grenade pretty good, but doesn't get the knock on the
Ой-ой-ой,
follow-up
какая
from
хая
Nerds,
хорошая была.
couldn't find one more member of base. That is perfect from
Отлично.
Nerds. So well cooked.
That air burst right in his face. There's nothing that Vex could have done about this one.
Как же хорошо он эту хаешку затаймил, а?
Where is he going to go? How's he going to handle anything as he is just trapped? Smoke's going to start coming out. He's going to have to lean into the Freaks side. Remember, they had sight lines into this just a second ago, so this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation for Dickory.
No doubt. He's in a ridiculously difficult spot. And so, of course, I feel
начали до
for
канала
him,
нокать.
as Twisted Minds has spotted Helen. Now they've been quiet throughout
А,
this
как
one. Maybe
NLT
able to find
начали?
their
А
first
как они
point.
поменялись местами?
Они через верх просто проехали перед ними.
Лол.
From the nades
Походу.
of Lou. Looks like he's avoided much damage there. Really kind of smart, heady play there from the IGL for Donawat to keep those vehicles safe.
United now also moving into a pretty interesting.
Ну, у Донавы все грустно, потому что еще снизу яушники их душат, ликвидов закрыли. Салют и Сеул в ноке. 2 на ногах у Донавы, 1 на ногах у Донавы, одного уже съели, минус Донава. Такими же темпами сейчас NLT могут пойти яушников закрывать. Они
Как
полностью...
закрывать? Там честный файт будет, что те, в сейве.
Ну,
НЛТ надо,
я не
чтобы 17-х
буквально
тут
имел в виду.
сейчас зафармили каким-то образом.
Should be within grenade range, I believe. They might be able to get
Ну,
one
у
in there.
17-х все плохо, 17-й в любом случае умирают.
Just such a weird thing to see. Two members of 17 just in their own independent shacks fighting four-man squads.
Я просто не могу, он еще и нокнул.
Just 17 things, right?
Yeah, only 17. Diggory's still alive.
Его еще и съели!
Yeah, the blue came to him and he is gone, but he did a whole bunch of damage before they took him out.
Ну все, NLT сейчас закрыть яушников, и эта игра для NLT просто фри.
КДФы просто скипнули чела в будке, я правильно понимаю?
Но они, может, про него не знают.
Так им в любом случае мимо будки бежать было надо.
Ну сейчас минус половина команды он сделает им. Если не минус всю. Минус Яху. Кое мы закрыли их. Яушников 1 ног уже есть, минус 1 чел у них. Ну туда не поднимутся без проблем. Надо 2 пацанами за нулки. Да, куда?
О, неплохо пострелял, кстати.
А что за стрельба? Алло! Сидят, ржут над его стрельбой, типа, ну ты лох. Лу нокает Хоббита.
Big game for them right now. These 10 kills were so needed. As now Twisted Minds looks like they are managing to start to regroup at least 3 of them. Perfectix now trying to make a pathing over to get to his teammates. Hobbits is down, and they're going to try to commit into a res for question mark. They trade though, still playing pretty close to this area where the Freaks are going to be at, and you can kind of see there's a slight ravine running through this, as we do have question mark that's got some high ground to look into it, and that's really what a lot of these teams are trying to control. Most notably question mark and the Freaks right now.
Yeah, Perfectix had taken quite a bit of damage. A good grenade
Хорошая хаешка была.
Put him down to about half, a little less than that. So
У него аптек нету, перфекта.
Probably try to go for a heal, but he's got a doozy right up above him, and a doozy isn't really able to push over this ridge with the firing lines that Twisted Minds has created on the other side. So a doozy here just has to fall back. There is not much else he can do unless he has a ton of grenades sitting around.
Combined forces of QM and United could do a ton of work into Twisted Minds right now, but we're getting into those later stages of the game. And so now Twisted Minds is going to try to see if they can shoo away what's happening. A doozy still wanting to move in, and he's getting closer and closer by the second to Perfectix position. While all this has been happening, though, we do see the Freaks have managed to take a much more dominant position down into the south.
Так, ПМ куда-то бурятся на тачках, дальше в рельеф проехали, окей. Сейчас довольно-таки неплохо себя чувствуют, надо 2 ДФ закрыть. В принципе, должно быть несложно. Еще и КДФ и там идут. Ну Данте отдается. Данте сразу же моментально съедают. Один из ДФ ноки. Флэш лоу хп, флэшу в спину заходит.
Ну, Ферстик убил, успел.
Я вижу. И сейчас Перфект будет отлично фармить в спину пацанов. Это в итоге он ни по кому не пострелял.
I like the recognition here from the Freaks. You can leave one to harass, but you need to get the main forces away from this fight, as Twisted Minds also had an angle into them. So let QM deal with Twisted Minds. You go regroup, set up for the next circle, see if you can find some kind of safety in there, and maybe you can...
Батулин подъезжает к Перфекту, видимо, чтобы вдвоем сыграть на них.
Force the other 3 teams to fight, and you take some kind of control over this low ground. It's going to be difficult for the Freaks, no doubt about it.
Yeah, this is the territory that they're trying to move into, though, is going to be where Twisted Minds, as well as United, is going to have some vision, and I think it's also going to be in a lower section of the circle. So.
Ой, идут прямо под Перфекта, по-моему, услышали Перфекта.
Does see himself some question mark members. Throwables now starting to come out. Is this frag going to connect? Is it going to be Perfectix just lined in, and he's going to go down? A doozy wins it, man. He runs up there quick to flush that one.
A great counter push here by a doozy, knowing his teammate was weak, knowing that Perfectix was going to be looking for the frag, able to catch him off guard. Out in the open now are the Freaks trying to make their cross.
Лу в ноке, Батулин там в плохой позиции тоже. А Доус доедает Дипа.
Oh man, running right over here next to Batulins. I don't even know if they know that this is about to hit them. Spyro does at least manage to take down Phil first.
Вот это они что-то подъехали. Остался один Доус. Душит Доуза синька, а Доус умер, я думаю. Без шансов для него.
Yeah, beautiful grenades here from Batulins. Again, beautiful spacing, beautiful position holding for the Twisted Minds.
У КДФ тут тоже не живут, остаются только по ходу НЛТ против ЮУ. В идеале, чтобы КДФ кого-то из ЮУ нокнули.
Чай подъехал сюда.
See the fact the Freaks have had to go full on Pineapple Express. Smokes galore down there, but it's just going to be too many angles.
А как чай появился на столе, чат, я не понял.
Gets a big chunk of this one, but they've got to be careful. Spyro is trying to creep over here. It looks like he wants to use his opportunity.
Вы видели это?
Jump in. Rello is defending up for EU United to make sure nothing can happen, and there you go. We've got a 3v2 to finish this one out, as it's going to be a very northern fight along this hill.
It's a huge fight for United. They need this win.
Ну на самом деле у КМов отрыв от там 5-го места От 6-го вообще никакой. Поэтому можно сказать, что КМ не на 11-м, а на 6-м сейчас. Там 4 поинта. Так что КМов не все так плохо. Там очень плотненько идут пацаны.
Rello's just kind of caught in an isolated spot. He's right next to Twisted Minds, but looks like they might be trying to bait something out. Most notably, Flood playing one side of this one. Rello's just trying to slow hold this position. Kick starts playing out in distance, though. Spyro takes a lot of damage. Rello looks like he might be trying to get some utility in, maybe support this one up. Starting to get this. Does it connect with anything? I don't know just yet. It looks like Kick starts
Ну, НЛТ, кстати, догнали практически 17-й.
Right up next to Batulins, and I don't think he's managed to find the angle to work with just yet.
Yeah, I mean, Twisted Minds has enough cover that they're able to stay safe. The utility from United has not done.
Сколько там флешек? Они все обмениваются.
Heavy lifting for them. Batulins stuck underneath.
Какая хорошая сейчас будет стата.
Вот она почти под ногами взрывается. Ты видел, сколько она снесла?
Да, да. Ой, увидел башку, просто краешек башки. Надо хилиться. Но позиционка у его лучше намного.
Влада нокнуть и жить можно.
Да.
United. Still, Flood has been absolutely nuts this tournament. He's got a good angle. He's got the 3x, and he's ready to spray him down.
2 в 2 остались, пацаны. Батулин ошибается.
Спустился. Нормально. Рело тоже читается, по идее.
Rello just needs to make sure that he doesn't get caught out by Spyro. If he can find that angle down on Batulin. Batulin's playing on the edge of the smoke. He's got the angle, can't find the knock.
Does get the damage, but that was a big reveal in position. If he goes for a peek there, it could be disastrous. Flood now having more and more pressure mounting on his position.
Им бы пикнуть сейчас Рело, убить Рело и 2 в 1
Да,
Флада.
они не могут Рело пикать никак.
Every single second that we can see that United is having more and more pressure put on them could be a benefit. Rello does line up, finally does pick it up, and there you go.
Слишком плохая позиционка была.
Yeah, a little bit shaky there, but at the end, Rello able to find the spray, gets the double, and a huge win for United. That's going to pop them right back up in the leaderboard.
And especially against Twisted Minds, that's going to be some type of moral victory to let them start moving forward. But we still have one more.
А чё у них какие-то флаги странные висят позади у НЛТ?
And I don't even know what I'm going to be expecting moving into this last round.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a great day for PUBG Esports as a lot of teams are stepping up today that we haven't seen so far. We've seen a lot of new winners in the grand finals. You know, it isn't just the 17 Gaming and Twisted Mind show
Вот это
today.
что за флаги?
Грузия, нет?
So, I mean, this is what we hope for. This is what you want to see going into the
Зеленый в смысле?
Ну, тот, так, я так понимаю, флаг команды, там просто логотип. А, слева, да, я не понял, что это за...
Ну, судя по всему, грузинский.
А с чего вдруг у них грузинский флаг будет висеть, я не понимаю.
В смысле, с чего вдруг? Мелман из Грузии.
А при чем здесь НЛТ, блядь,
А, да.
долбоёб?
Ну, да. Кстати, может, не перевесили, хз.
Саудовская Аравия? Ну, вот. Аргата у них же арабская.
А чё, это флаг такой или чё это у них в Аравии?
Да, это флаг у них такой. Сейчас скажу, да, флаг это их. Охренительно, блин. То есть, а, кстати, ни у кого российских флагов нету, да? Не разрешили вешать или что?
Так там нельзя вешать.
Понимаю, блин.
But they're also collecting more and more points, and they're actually slowly kind of starting to climb up the leaderboard a little bit more too. So, I mean, they're still finding. They're another one of those teams that's finding themselves one big game away from being right in the mix with everybody else going into this final day, Martin.
Yeah, 7 kills, only 10th place though. I love the way they were able to close it out though. I mean, if you're able to salvage a game without getting any placement points with 7, that's fine to me, but it was messy. And in general, in this area here, I love the terrain and how everything works in this area, but it's hard to get there when you first get started in a rotation, when you get stopped throughout and in the middle of it.
In a lot of ways, the way you say it was messy is true. This game was messy through the
Так, ладно.
entirety of it.
Давайте договоримся так. Вы там свои дела делаете, а я на диван. И на следующей игре увидимся.
Blown away by how TM reacted to that knock and just almost outsmarted him.
I mean, Twisted Minds is such a good team, man. Like, it is a pleasure to watch that team operate and just see how they play the meta game and how good their communication is, how they have the trust that they have in each other to be able to cover each other's backs. I mean, that fight against QM, that could have easily gone another way, but Twisted Minds been able to pull it out. Still 7 kills, 1,800 damage, and, you know, finally, United, again, back up in the top.
In many situations, just a case where you outsmart people in high and intense situations, right? But Tulin's waiting by a car for Question Mark to drive past that, getting like an easy knock once. Spyro also obviously got one, but it's just easy to outsmart like that if you're able to outthink your opponents in situations where, all right, everybody's just kind of scrambling to get into better positions, but they're just outplaying and outsmarting a lot of the teams that they're winning against. And of course, still combined with them being amazing mechanically.
Now, I have to avoid the bias and call a spade a spade.
Right.
United did yoink 2 circles there at the end, both to the north, to put them in a winning position, but were able to capitalize off of that. A team that I thought did the most with what they had in front of them is your KDF and QM. Both of those teams had to scrap to put every point on the board for them.
Yeah, and I mean, KDF kind of needs it too, don't they? I mean, I think they were dead last going into this game, but you know, it's weird. Every now and then we're seeing games where these teams, no matter where they lie on the leaderboard, whether it's at the top or the bottom, they still show how they got here. Like, they are definitely worthy of being in this grand finals lobby.
Here's the end of the match as we watch again. Batulin doing a great job of pushing up, gets the flush, and then they immediately relocate, but ultimately it came down to just running out of smokes, Avenger. They had no defense and just a tree.
Once we get to the top 4, utility is king. It is literally what wins your game. If they had 10 more smokes there, it could have been completely different. Relo had an angle, but if they were able to smoke like and have a flank around it and maybe take a 2 versus 1 versus flood, it would have been completely different. Then again, they ran out of it. They tried to outsmart it, they got kicked down, but they didn't have kind of the rest of the utility to commit to the rest of the strategy. And Relo, you know, on a really fantastic spray down there with the 2x M4, I believe it was, be able to close this one out.
Yeah, I mean,
top fraggers Nigel too this game.
There you go. There you go. I mean, we've been singing Relo's praises all year, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, they were down to what, maybe 2 or 3 smokes left.
Right.
If they have more, then they can use them offensively, right? Throw them on top of United, force them to kind of play through those smokes. But unfortunately, United in a perfect position to kind of take advantage of the fact that TM had to push out of that. And there you go. The new leaderboard is up. United right there.
Let's check it in. 17 Gaming does allow the slide to continue at 133. They went out in 8th and left the door open. Twisted Minds and United capitalize on the door being left, and they try to kick it in. Twisted Minds does close the gap. Had they won that game, they would have taken the lead, but United put a stop to it, and in doing so, gets closer. And dare I ask, Martin, is this now a 3-horse race?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I would love to do it. I would love to see maybe one more battle. Maybe they can, you know, hop drop each other in Picado in this chance here. They're going to kill each other and then not have that many placement points because I would love to see United. They had a rough day on their angle. Gotta say, I think it was 6 points, 7 points total. They managed to get in 3 games. It's just not enough if you want to make it a 3-horse race. They have to have a big game here in the last game of the day.
Well, the last game of the day is not far away. We'll see if they do have that big one. Who takes home the last win of the day? You'll find out in just a few minutes.
event.
Meditate on that! High five!
My eyes are up here. A bold message. I will not rest. Did you know they call Callisto the Dead Moon? Dead. Gives me chills every time. Things are changing. They're evolving.
Well, we wanted it to be a close series, and boy, we are getting there. Now just 2 points separating out the top of our leaderboard, and I don't even know, so many ties all across the place everywhere else.
No doubt. I mean, this has been a really fun third day in terms of a lot of teams stepping up to the plate today that maybe hadn't the first couple of days to at least put themselves within, spitting distance of some of the top teams, but it continues to be a two-horse race with 17 and Twisted Minds, but it feels like it's trading between the two maps. On Miramar, it's Twisted Minds. On Erangel, 17. So, again, if 17 can have a big game here on Miramar, that could be the difference maker.
I don't know if you can count out E-United just yet. 15 points behind is a doable hurdle to try to climb over and usurp positioning when we still have 6 games left.
Yeah, Kickstart's now your top damage dealer for the tournament. He's the first one to get ahead of 5,000 damage, and he's quite a bit ahead of anybody who's close to him. Perfectix is second in total damage right now at 4,680, so really, Kick is having a good one. I mean, a bit of a fumble there at the end of that game that cost him his life, but regardless, they still won the game, so, you can sort of forget about that one. Just shake it off. Just, next game, GG go next.
I mean, he did move into an aggressive position in there, so I think that they realized that there was risk in it, so I'll give him that one on side of it, even though the fact that he's on my fantasy team, so. Not gonna get
he's on a lot of the other
kills for me, are you, Kickstarter?
Yeah, he's on a lot of the other casters' fantasy teams. So you know what?
Just the American ones.
Yeah, well, yes. So there's no love lost for me there. I mean, I'm riding on Show and Soul is doing the heavy lifting for me. So
as he is right now, is doing a pretty damn good job of it, 27 points, and we are going back into the north as we have gone up here quite a bit in Miramar, as at least now going much more north of Azahar as we were seeing the trend be yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, these generally end up either kind of in and around Cruz de Valle or somewhere to the north of Hacienda. That's generally where these like to go. They can hard shift west, it can hard shift north. There's a ton of directions it can go, so we won't know more.
Oasis is in the circle.
Don't get your hopes up.
Oasis is in the circle.
You're over here dancing
Hey, look,
I mean, you've been able to summon some bad circles, so you know what? We both have today. I summoned the bad Erangel circle that went to the, the South George. They drove through the tree.
Just wilding.
He went right through the branches.
Что ты будешь делать, я тебя поздал.
And just look at the vehicles flipping everywhere.
Hey, I mean, you got there.
Или это повтор?
The pre-nades are already there. That's standing right on top of it, and that's a landmine.
Да, это повтор.
Да нет, это они второй раз так взлетают.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
Я что-то просто смотрю на счетчик киллов, думаю, what?
He just walks right in. Kari's just chilling at the corner. It's like, all right, dude.
Whoever designed those longhouses in PUBG, you're evil. They are so hard to try to take.
They are one of the most difficult houses.
Все, я здесь, без паники, отставить панику.
Oh yeah, they should be proud. I mean, if that was your goal, mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. More often than not, whenever I'm driving by and I just see something.
Так, 133 поинта у 17 гейминг. Как его оказались вообще в тройке, блин, еще и с отрывом от 4-го небольшим? What the fuck? Я удивлен вообще.
Вообще они и выиграли предыдущую игру.
И что? В других играх-то их вообще не видно было.
Extra points here and there, but the other teams around them have really started to pick up the pace, and Overpeakers in fourth. I mean, again, that veteran team, a team with, more experience than just about anybody else, if not any other team in this lobby. So you could see it pulling through for them as they just, they're playing loose, they're playing fun, and they're able to make some really good moves out of it. And when you're playing,
Боже, какие же отвратительные фотки.
Because you're not in your own head, you're just sort of letting the game come to you. You're just reacting.
Что не нравится внешность Хоббита?
Обработка фоток мне не нравится.
Yeah.
It works for him, but
I'll say I like it.
I love every second of it.
Absolutely.
Just keep on going. Just keep on doing it.
А Доузу надо шубу, короче, какую-нибудь было нацепить на этой фотке. Да, было вообще кайф.
It's a good combination of a lot of good players. I mean, on paper, it should have been a team that.
А Данте надо кольца нацепить, вот эти, которые, знаешь, на шею. Золотые.
У него реально шея мощная, слушай.
They're our best grand survival team so far. They're doing a really phenomenal job. That's no problem. Landed it. Easy money.
Да никому не будет тяжко в зону заезжать. В зону все заедут с кайфом. Вон они уже в зоне.
Similar split to what we saw in their big win, in their history-making 22-kill win earlier in the event. So QM's gonna mess with that too much. Total damage.
Зона. Ну чё, первая будет харшифт вниз. Инфа 100. Я звонил Крафтону, узнавал, какой харшифт будет. Сказали, что прокнет фул вниз.
Странно, я думал, что там взяли и сказали, пошел нахуй шаман, и будет прок другой.
Yeah, not bad. You know, they would definitely love to see a southern shift on the next circle where they're sitting, but you know, there is a rotation opportunity down the road potentially. That road's a little bit tougher to camp than some. The one that runs from Hacienda up to Cruz de Valle, because there are some sloping hill lines that make it kind of tough to get right to the edges of them. But Yahoo, oh boy, they're going to be taking some damage. They're getting a little help though from I think FaZe out in the open. Now the Freaks again might have to defend a compound.
Now going to be sending it in, and hey, guess what? It's going to be Twisted Minds rolling right over here next to Overpeakers.
Ой,
over here that's got the high ground. Means the fact that the other two Overpeakers need to try to see
А Мекси-то тут.
quickly. It's just going to be full-on shots from one side of this one, and yep, it looks like that's just going to be enough to deter.
Африка, ой, что-то почуяли, то ли увидели по инфеле, не пойму, как они там среагировали, решили уйти.
Там наверху стоит этот, на горе, над Сан-Мартином, кто-то. У НЛТ. Он, видимо, видел, что там это сидят, когда они подъехали.
Давай, Романов, сколько ставишь? Если прок вниз, сколько с тебя ждать, Дани?
All right, now the dance around for compounds is continuing as most teams are leaning into a, I guess, center to the south kind of situation. Praying the fact
Сотку? Ну все, давай.
Water treatment that direction. Maybe down over around the center area. We might also see like Death Valley, not Death Valley, sorry, Death Star Trench factor for this one. And now Overpeakers do manage to get in point. We also have Day Trade that's going to be running up here next to TM, but just a lot of like weakening shots coming out. No anywhere on circle.
Yeah, a little bit of congestion for the church up on the Cruz de Valle Hill. And Cerberus is sending in a pretty strong force.
Лучники тиканули вниз.
Realizes that they don't have the forces available to
Терберус с Кайфом церковь забирают.
Abbey, part of the church they go. I think this is probably okay for United, but they got to be a little bit careful. I mean, Solalzi is really getting aggressive.
Мне кажется, или Нави почти не набрали поинтов за сегодняшний день?
It's gone well for them, yeah. As it turns out, Yahoo kind of just got swatted away from other locations, had to drive here, and almost gets a knock on a United for it. Relo scrambling to drive up into the Abbey, and he should be good to go to get into the church side of it.
Well, and so that means that Yahoo's going to find themselves a place to stop as well, and that's going to be more of a calm situated.
Рело еле-еле ноги унес.
Taking some shots at each other, but that's going to be about it. It looks like we're going to see.
Иху проехали мимо 4 складов, и у них все на тачке живые.
TMA is going to be the only team that likes me and goes Oasis.
Под ним, походу, не стреляли.
Hang out there until it's last call. Maybe they'll find a couple circles going their way. Donawa pre-rotation here as they were just getting some info.
Нормально канала через Сан-Мартин двигается.
There isn't much going on until you get to Lou from Twisted Minds up on the Double Gods that are up on the hill to the south, or excuse me, to the northwest of San Martin. So looks like they're just going to try to drive right through the city. There hasn't been much fighting in San Martin proper, so they have to assume that it's probably decently empty.
I mean, there's a lot of times in the circle that nobody is actually shooting.
Ляна тоненького повернул.
Especially for a Miramar circle, you've got a couple of teams. It's most notably just Twisted Mind and Overpeakers.
Интересно, кто-то из НЛТ высадит кого-то из Донавы сейчас? Жестко, мощно. Они, походу, увидели там машину. Или они все-таки катаются, ждут прок. Патулин быстрее в кемп заезжает. А, они вообще мимо едут.
Зона фул на фейзов и КДФов будет.
Сосать! 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 Романов, я жду.
Заработал сотку.
Это скидка на коляску мне. Ничего не знаю.
Тебе-то точно надо скидку на коляску.
Мне-то точно надо скидку на коляску.
This is, you're just at that stage, you got to send it down. We got these fields that we saw several endings at around here beforehand. Now it's going to be about how the pathing is going to come out for TMA. They're going to approach in off of this, and instead it looks like they've got their eyes set and coming in after E United.
Yeah, this is nice here for the Freaks because they're able to,
got to defend.
With a show of force, keep him away. Rello, though, has two cars driving right by him. He waits to spring the trap. Blood gets the first knock. Can Rello get another? No. TMA looks like they're going to escape with only one loss to the
фраги тут подловили.
Guess what? There's another couple of those that are going to be coming because it's also going to be Navi and next.
Где вообще?
See, Freak still gets a vision in what's happening. Where he going to go?
Где эти сильные азиаты, кроме 17-х? Алло. Не, ну ТМА неплохо на тачках катаются по Мирамару. Тут как бы базара нету. Делай красиво. Базара Зира.
It's been a crazy drive, not the most pleasant of trips, but they got here.
I mean, they're at least kind of centered too, and they've got Navi that can kind of protect them in one angle.
Чел в чате пишет: зачем вы рожаете детей, потом побираетесь на них?
It's all according to plan. Yeah, you surrender a player to have a team protect.
Пошел нахуй, завистливый уёбок.
Alright, so not too many other rotations coming out just quite yet. We do have Wildcard that's moving in pretty close to phase. Wildcard did also just pick up a crate, I believe, so have to see who's got some toys to play with.
I see the level 3 gear on Greg's shot this time again, and I haven't seen a level 3 gun floating around, so it might have been something that nobody wanted to rock and roll with, which if it's the AWM and you passed on it, then you deserve to lose the game. That's all there is to it.
Oh, wow, just going to call it out.
I'm just calling it out, well, I totally am serious about it, too.
We'll have to look and see how that goes.
Ликвиды опять сплитились, блин.
This is the building you want to go into because there's some people in there that are not going to care for you to be here and aren't going to care how much it's going to take to kill you.
Grenades are in, trying to put them down the hall. See if you can land them right between those doors that are down there, you might be able to get some damage in those two separate rooms.
А все, Романов, вот так вот. От души.
But I can't see much through that smoke. Flash took a big chunk of damage, but able to get around. Still, Belmoth not directly involved in this fight, trying to play Overwatch, but he's really far out there.
Yeah, he was trying to come in as well. It's going to be Batulins that provides some support as he is separated away from the rest of Twisted Minds, kind of monitoring what's going to be going on. Firefight's going to be going, and it's going to be more and more problems for Daydream.
Ой-ой-ой, какая зона непредсказуемая, блин. Мы даже не видели такой ни разу на этом турнире, ё-моё. Я, кстати, помню эту же зону, где Коэмы там же сидели, и потом на пути в яму сдохли, по-моему. НЛТ с кайфом в гараж заезжают.
Allow them to leapfrog past. That's just more of this unbelievably smart play calling that you see from them. They take advantage of the chaos, but they don't go for the points in the fight, they go for the position.
Wildcard was trying to move into the circle just north of water treatment and then did bump into phase yet again as the standoff continues. Flash with a shotgun facing one direction, Mixie holding down an AR facing another as Overpeakers definitely have control over.
В чем проблема Нави? Первый день хорошо отыграли, а теперь ничего не могут. Ну, нестабильная игра у команды. Понимаешь, я тоже один день очень хорошо стреляю, второй день вообще не могу попасть.
Блять, мечтаю попасть на день, когда он очень хорошо стреляет. Пока не удавалось.
У тебя вообще таких дней нету, так что не базарил бы. Твою стрельбу видел вообще, нет? Позорник.
Ну, получше некоторых.
Ты их похуже всех стреляешь, блин.
Так а почему ты тогда отсосал?
Ну, просто высрать что-то, высказать, почему. Ну да, я просто высру. Не...
Почему ты отсосал-то тогда, если я хуже всех стреляю?
Когда, где, у кого, что за бред
Ну,
я
когда
сейчас
мы один
слушаю?
на один играли.
Когда я у
Когда
тебя...
я еще пьяный был. То есть ты от пьяного меня отсосал, и я все равно хуже всех играю.
То есть я месяц не играл в PUBG, пришел с тобой поиграть ДМ, когда ты каждый день играешь в PUBG, и ты мне говоришь сейчас за стрельбу? Ты серьезно? Клоун, постеснялся бы вообще.
Ты бы постеснялся.
Ага. Когда ты что-то высираешь свои шутеечки про мою игру хорошую, хотя сам играешь как этот... Стреляешь, вернее, как урод, я бы вообще постеснялся на твоем месте. Ну серьезно, ё-моё, скуп. Ну пипец.
Да, да.
Да, да, да. Я могу ошибиться по игре, но про стрельбу про мою лучше не стоит говорить, типа, как с такой стрельбой.
Так с какой такой-то?
С отвратительнейшей, чё?
Ну, я считаю, что я лучше тебя стреляю.
Считай, но по факту ты
Ну,
вообще,
да ты всё.
ты очень плохо стреляешь.
Ну, это твои факты, блядь.
Вот именно, спасибо, что ты признал, что это факты.
Ну, это твои. Для тебя они факты, для меня это не факт. Для меня это высер бомжа.
The unbeatable, basically the borderline unbeatable compound, but everybody else now scrambling to find some space. There's not much left.
OTE is trying to crash in back together, and Navi is trying to exploit it. They're just going to go ahead and send it in and say, okay, they don't have Cham to set up a full defense onto it, so Navi is just going to try to exploit that one. They do manage to come in pretty quickly and already managed to take down...
Команд, привет, пытаюсь посмотреть трансляцию старую ранкеда, которая была, пишет, владелец запретил смотреть. Да не запретил я, там походу из-за клипа.
They're just dissecting them like a high school biology pig, man. This is just absolutely ridiculous. The way that Navi just ran in there and took him out. EU drive-bys abound as both teams taking some damage, but Entropic has to go for the Freaks. This wide spread for the Freaks this late. This is too late to be doing this spread. Teams are going to start crashing you.
All these different fights are trying to allow EU United to move forward. They do lose one finally after driving through the thick of a ton of teams, but they're actually going to crash into the backside of the fight that we were watching just a second ago with TE and Navi. So with this, now all of a sudden the Expendables have some support in an unexpected vector.
Well, the Freaks are late and they're going to pay the price. This is just, with the way that this circle has shifted, with how little playable space there is in terms of compounds and other safe spots, because there's so many angles and so much flat ground that people can get shot at from the compounds that are in this circle. The Freaks are just way late, and they pay the price.
The 2-2 splits that work in PCS.
Ай-яй-яй-яй! Да как так-то? Боже, я думал, он еще не убьет.
And now it is just a full-on press. They realize that they want to get him down and out fast.
Yeah, 17 was trying to hold the back end of this to really wait for the circle to make their move and then take the fight to Cerberus.
Мне вот интересно, стоило ли заезжать в этот гараж НЛТ?
Ну, они с него топ-3 точно должны забирать, как минимум.
Ну, плейсмент они, может, и заберут, но вот киллов у них там 0 будет.
Ну, вон, перфект шоу забирает. У них там не особо вариков было, я так полагаю, безопасных ротаций.
Но они могли фулл-край закрыть. Свой с хасьендой вот где тут.
А как они потом поедут? Типа там потом ротация, фулл-опен через поле.
Точно такая же, как они сейчас ехали.
Так они ехали, их никто не фокусил вообще. И все команды, которые там растянуты по предыдущей зоне, были заняты тем, чтобы...
Так а тут чел, хочешь сказать, в этом ангаре сейчас не заняты вообще?
Ну хз, короче. дальше. Типа тут-то, видишь, люди приезжают, умирают, приезжают, умирают.
Ну вот Церберусы тоже сейчас, если бы ангар был фришный, могут вообще что хотят делать. Ой, если бы гараж, если бы это были, например, твисты. Зафармить край точно так же приехать. Ну, как вариант. Кстати, удивительно, что на Куэмов опять нашифтила на этот, на кемп.
Ну, Куэмы должны неплохо тут сыграть.
Make a maneuver to get in. Overpeakers does control the southern tip. About half of a compound in that circle. Navi now has to start expending.
Шансы до сих пор у всех есть.
Да.
Типа, допустим, две хорошие игры Нави полностью их реабилитируют.
Take phase away because they're gonna feel bad after that one. It's gonna be Navi still trying to see if they can.
Бля, эти клоуны, которые дропшотают, заебали.
Danaway here's what all the craziness that's just going on over here, and now moving in, it's going to be Soul that's going to be also in a gatekeeping position. So, all right, tides and times are going to change depending on how this all goes.
Yeah, for Danawa, there's nobody up on the northern edge of that long ridge line that runs across the road to the west of water treatment. So they've got a lot of open space to work with, and sending Soul out here, he just has to be really, really careful. But with the rest of his team being able to watch him from the gas station, he should be aight if he doesn't overextend.
Well, now it's just going to be.
Нави тут уже второй склад. Церберус нормально представит. Example минус. А почему он не горит?
So example's probably going to go down. Is it? Nobody's winning out of this one. Cerberus, at least here's the firefight is going to continue to path right next to Twisted Minds.
Сколько игр будет? Сегодня последнее, завтра еще 5. Надо у Чепуха спросить, будет он в колду или нет. Ты будешь в колду или что?
Мне без разницы, либо в колду, либо в пабге бы поиграл.
Find some manner of safety. United has lost 2 players, but still able to control the warehouse, it looks like. Although, I'm not sure if somebody's gotten in there or not. But Cerberus, a grenade from Soul. Does a lot of damage. If he can find the follow-up, he's still sitting on a couple more.
This East Coast is just absolutely getting brutalized over here. As looks like Haisaki's going to try to reset. Also do want to point out that Navi are finally finding themselves a game. They've got themselves 7 kills and have managed to step up and pass over Peakers, but it's just barely.
Чё, во сколько начало? Завтра? Как сегодня?
Is now out. Kickstart and United are trying to figure out how they're going to deal with the remnants of Navi that are going to be moving forward in a 2v2 fight that's just going to be about who's going to be able to get picked apart next.
Yeah, United
Minus
has
Navi.
them pinned on the bad side of the blue, but they're getting shot from a lot of different angles. They're trying to escape. They want to get longer into this game. Soul is going to find a finish on Aisaki. Uba, though, trying to heal.
Донавы уже гору заняли спокойно. Почему, интересно, МЛТ не заняли эту гору? Почему они ее Донави отдали?
And everything is now coming up. Twisted Minds. A circle is still close enough that they can find something to work with, but they still have to contend with Danawa, who is so close. They have finally stepped into first place. So 17, who has been holding down first place for so long, now loses it. It's going to be Twisted Minds.
Нормально они поехали на баге.
Overpeakers going to make the send in, trying to desperately get into James's point. It looks like Vard is going to be able to get there. Belmoth or Day Trade's probably not too long for this world either, as it looks like he's trying to take off.
Ну, Коэмы сейчас выиграют игру и будут в топ-6. Если выиграют.
Really put some serious hurt on top of them. Soul up on the hill playing point. And now you've got Lambu driving out. Yeah, finally Uba is going to go down. It's the blue who's going to steal that points away from any team, though. There's a good one from Soul to get the knock on to Spyro. Will there be follow-ups? You can see they're sending out flankers. Lambu now trying to join with Helen, Soul, and Salute.
Ну, как минимум, братан, ты можешь взять сейчас время, посмотреть, сколько идет стрим, вычесть это. Хотя бы как минимум. 16:00 по Москве.
But a doozy's going to do them a favor and take down Vard. So now, Twisted Minds with the opportunity that they want to exploit so much, Danawa is not allowing, and trying to get out of this compound is so hard. With that hillside, with that opening, you can just drop nades right on top of people's heads.
What a bounce from Salute, rolled it right along the top of the roof. Now Helen and Lambu, who have been sitting on their grenades for some time, are going to be able to make it start raining here. QM is starting to reach out a little bit, get a little bit curious towards the southern side of this circle. They want to try to sneak some points in. I mean, that compound, of course, will give you potentially a guaranteed 10-point win, but you'd like to rake in some extra kills along the way. Helen now out of frags. Donawa with 7 kills total.
There's more.
Maybe?
Try to find some more, right?
He's looking for him. I don't know if there's any more left of those boxes.
You gotta give it Twisted Minds. They did a good job on trying to stay alive, and a lot of nades being dropped on top of him. Mexi's finding himself a target of a lot of attention.
Не могут.
Question mark is going to be stretching into the south, going after some of these solos and weakened players.
Токсик улетает в лобби. Поэмы по чуть-чуть начали фармить.
That Molotov is probably going to connect, and that's going to be a cooked Jeems.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of Jeems. A really nice throw there from Soul. Now, attention back over to Twisted Minds as they want to barricade them in. You could throw down some smokes to cut off the counter angles from other teams trying to get some third-party shots in this, but it's only QM, and QM had sent a doozy and Phil first out try to fight a flank onto this fight. Donat needs to win against Twisted Minds and then turn their attention to QM.
I think that we might be seeing a problem surmount, though. Dano separated
Donat хорошо заняли гору.
Интересно, QM будут играть под ними, пытаться по граундам проходить к центру, либо выпад сделают на канаву.
Они, походу, никуда не будут делать ничего.
Вообще они могут дальше пройти в граунды под канаву.
Уже третий день смотрю и не понял, сколько очков за первое место. Подскажите, пожалуйста, 10 поинтов за первое место. 1 поинт за фраги, 10 за первое место. На каждый килл 1 поинт.
Well, that's a good game.
How much smoke do you have, and how much can you try to make this work? Because you can see the hillside is going to provide something, but like you're saying, it's just so hard to push.
More often than not, yeah.
That's going to be about the only opportunity that's going to be presented as Phil first already has control of the south, so Twisted Minds can't make a move in that direction. Danawa can't either, so Danawa is still just trying to.
Ну, NLT, походу, топ-3 тут.
It's going to be Lambu with so much pressure onto him. Nobody's taking any shots. There's no clear sight lines. You see, Twisted Minds knows exactly where Danawa is. Danawa knows where Question Mark is. Question Mark has a rough idea where Twisted Minds is, so it's just kind of a standoff.
Поэмы, если сейчас выиграют, завтра, может, даже побороться могут за тройку. Но сегодня просто так складывается, что на них прокает. Который раз уже, которую игру.
Trying to leapfrog their way towards Donawa, smokes out, whether that be just to cut off their angle to allow their.
Именно их показывали, видел я. Но это после игр показывают. Не забудьте лайк воткнуть пока. Кто на ютубчике смотрит, мужики.
Ну да, вон видишь, они прошли сюда под канаву в граунде.
Did just kill Jeems, so that is going to be its own independent problem for Twisted Minds to contend with, but it's going to be, fortunately enough, QM taking some shots into him. This is just continually right next to each other, just awkward, and nobody can find anything.
Soul has 6 mollies, though. I mean, he should just start lighting up Twisted Minds if he can. Now they're under pressure. A doozy hits the head. A doozy gets the knock onto Perfectix. This should be the flush in a moment. Now Donawa comes to life. They want to take advantage of this. Salute has the knock onto Lou. Batulins on a sliver of health, going for the full med kit to get back up to 100. There come the mollies from Soul. He comes up just short of Batulins on the first one.
Oh, that's just the first one. Here come the rest of them, and yeah, that's going to be Batulins on fire. There is not too much that you can do with this one. Looks like he's going to just try to med it out. I think he might be able to do it. Did he even catch on fire, or was that bullets that actually?
He got caught on fire, yeah.
Okay.
But
well,
he had just gotten his med kit off, so he was.
Yeah, okay. Looking in, that just means the fact that Dana was having to spend so much time.
Ну, сейчас Donava должна что-то делать.
More and more over to question mark.
Yep, exactly. I mean, this is, again, very likely in favor of question mark.
Дать смоки и по смокам проходить на твистов сюда в граунд. Либо пушить кемп этого QM-ов. Тоже по смокам.
Не, на твистов это проигранная тактика. Это проигранная игра будет, мне кажется. Там просто со всех сторон они выйдут потом.
There's a world where they do this, but I only see one in the hand of Lambu. I'm not sure what the smoke situation is like.
Сейчас начнется замес, если размены будут нормальные, твисты выиграть еще могут.
This is the moment
Ну, там Feel First контролит, но твисты, да, им никуда не надо сейчас. Они там могут жить еще.
Нет, тут тупо.
У канавы, походу, смоков нету или что? Да.
Они про Ферстика не знают.
And then there was just poor on Batulins all by his lonesome, and well, at least he has some hay bales for friends.
There's a couple knocked for QM though. Phil first went down. You've got another one. It's only a 1v2. If they let Batulins get the res off.
Это вообще на моей памяти первая выигранная игра QM-ами.
I feel you right now. Question mark. You gonna finish it that way? I got you.
Go for the style points, baby. You'll love to see it. Let's go. We got some question mark fans. Very, very thrilled, and they are playing great from that position, raking in some kills.
What's the thing with the hair in question mark? I don't know. Is that a thing?
Well, it's their colors, I guess, right? They're blue and white, so I guess the white hair.
I don't know. We're gonna have to get Martin to give us some type of information on that one. Avender, give us some type of breakdown as we're gonna be moving in. But there we go. We are now 3/4 of the way through the grand finals, and it was feeling like it was 17 for the longest time, but now after today, it looks like Twisted Minds stepped up, got into position, but that game was not massive. It's still.
Выиграли QM, а показывают больше NLT.
I mean, that is what they are. They are so really fun. They're so fun to watch play.
Просто я не могу. Просто когда выигрывает любая другая команда, ее нон-стоп показывают практически. Где QM в 2 раза показали, зрители показывают. Показывают все, кроме QM-ов. Я что-то не могу. Ну ладно. Давайте чат тогда. Всем спасибо. Увидимся чуть позже. Не знаю. Либо на пабге, либо на Warzone. Ну вообще, наверное, хотелось бы в Warzone поиграть. Хотя паб вчера играли. Да, там был один Жан из них. Ладно, все. Всем спасибо. Увидимся завтра. ПГЦ завтра финальный день в это же время. 16:00 по Москве. Приходите, будем смотреть. Так что увидимся через часик, наверное. Часик-полтора максимум. Давайте, покедово.